Hey, what's up, everyone? Renee here with a special announcement. Just letting everyone know that we here at the Movie Time podcast stand strong with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA during this tough and important time in the industry. Even though neither one of us are members of any of the unions, we want to make sure that we do our part to show our support and solidarity with those on the picket lines and those who are currently out of work. First and foremost, we are fans of film and cinema, and we're going to continue to show our love and passion of the works that are put forth by the true creators that make these movies possible for all of us to see. That said, we will continue to do our show as usual, but always ensure that we put more emphasis on the writers and actors involved in the works we talk about week to week. We will also continue to stay up to date on the strikes and make sure we do what we can to spread the word on how to help those affected. We have included links to special funds and ways to donate to ensure that those affected will, at the very least, get support to live while these strikes continue. We encourage you to do your research, and we will provide as much info as possible through the links provided. If you have any questions or have other ideas on how to further show support, by all means, please let us know through the comments. Thanks again for all of your support.
It's about that time to grab your favorite snack and sit back and relax, because you are now listening to the Movie Time podcast with your hosts, Low-Key Geek Renee Zalata and Blake the Wolf. Take it away, boys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Look who's back. It's us. It's the Movie Bros. Movie Time Movie Bros in the hizzy. What's going on? Renee Low-Key Geek here. And Blake the Wolf. What's going on, my dude? Oh, wait. Hold on. I gotta send this text out real quick. Wait. Yeah. Hold on.
Hello? Hey, no, I'm in a movie theater right now. No, I can't talk. Hold on one second. We're recording this,
can we
right?
take a selfie
Well,
real quick? I want to take a selfie. Okay.
I want people to see me at the movie.
I gotta post that
No,
on
let's
Instagram.
get the screen in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. What are we talking about today, Renee?
Movie theater etiquette. I think that's going to be the main topic of today's little show, this little episode that we do here. And the reason why I thought now is a great time to talk about this, it's funny because Blake and I have been wanting to talk about this topic for a while. And we were waiting for a moment where it was going to like die down. We have one of the weeks that we have, we're going to give a little inside baseball stuff here. So there are certain weeks where the movies that come out aren't appealing to either both of us or at least one of us, right? So this is the one of those weeks where we had Haunted Mansion and Talk to Me that comes out. Now, if you have been listening to us for a while, you know Blake doesn't do horror movies. And Talk to Me is definitely one of those that Blake would not do. Haunted Mansion, I think Blake would do, but at the same time, Blake is like, it's Haunted Mansion, dude. I don't want to fucking see that shit. Right? That's basically
40% Rotten Tomatoes. Basically,
Yeah.
like if the critics score, I don't even want to see it and the critic score is low.
Right.
Like I'll see a horror movie if the score is high enough and like, okay, it's a work of art. Let's go.
Sure.
But I don't love the feeling of being scared, and I also don't like bad movies.
Right.
I like enjoying movies. That's kind of my whole thing. It's like,
Right.
I want to like the movie that I go see.
Right. Yeah. So
Plus,
yeah.
we're also Barbenheimer. We're in the aftermath of Barbenheimer. And movies are top of the news these days. Like it was a viral sensation, and like every news outlet was talking about how movies are making a bunch of money. It's the Barbenheimer. And so we got a lot of people coming to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a theater that is usually dead on Tuesday nights this past week, and it was a sea of pink. It was a lot of people. It was full lines and lines. And I was like, I know, like it was a late showing, and normally I just walk right up to concessions, and I waited about 15 minutes for concessions and to even to get my show my ticket. Like, so we got a lot of folks who are either not seasoned moviegoers, and a lot of people who are, movies are top of mind just for society in general. And we may have had some experiences this past weekend at the Barbenheimers or movies in the past. we're in the heat of summer right now, summer blockbuster season. A lot of people are kind of only going to see certain movies that come out around this time of year. Tis the season.
Yeah, it's the season. It's the phenomenon called Barbenheimer, and it's just now just feels like a good time to remind everyone about etiquette when you go to a movie theater, or just point out the things that you probably don't realize you do that probably annoy 95% of the people around you in the movie theater, or at least 80 or me. I'll just cut it out. It just pisses me off. That's it. Yeah.
We're gonna do good cop, bad cop. I'm gonna try to do more good cop stuff. Renee's gonna get very riled up a few times.
Yeah.
What I'll add to it is we'll also include some tips for enjoying the movies better yourself and not ruining it for other people and getting into fights at the movie theater.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a better experience, and that's kind of what we want out of the whole thing. But there's certain things that you might be hearing this and saying, I know all the movie theater etiquette. I believe in it. They don't have anything to offer. I'm just maybe you're gonna listen along and go like, yeah, that bothers me too.
Right.
But also there's some things that like people who really care about movie theater etiquette, I go to them with the movies and they do, especially there's this one thing that a lot of people do. I'll get to later. I have it's just a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
People don't even know they do it because you can't hear it. You can't see it, but people do it and it'll ruin a movie for me. And I've talked to other people who equally ruin, other people don't care. They don't notice it. So just if you want to be mindful, we'll have a few things in here that you might not even know are things. Yeah. If you go through our lists and are like, yeah, I do all that, let us know. We would love to like give you some love in the comments and be like, thank you for being a great movie time, a friend of the movie time family.
Exactly.
But otherwise, yeah, there's a lot. There's plenty of things that I might learn something from Renee today.
Yeah,
he won't learn anything from me. This guy is very dogmatic and diligent about movie theater etiquette.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say I'm bad at is policing them. So like if I see someone who's incessantly doing something, I cannot be that guy who'd be like, hey, can you knock that off, or whatever the case is. I kind of just suffer through it and like stew, and then like a couple days later, I'll be talking to you about it. I'll be like mouthing off about how pissed off I was about the two slobs next to me in The Little Mermaid.
And did nothing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be, let's consider this as a therapy session of some of the things that we find annoying that we come across from time to time at a movie theater. And let's help each other be better patrons to the movie theater going audience and all that. But before we start off and going into all that, again, just a reminder, this is the MovieTime movie podcast, where every week you got myself and Blake here, the movie bros of the MovieTime crew, talking about movies and all that kind of stuff like that. So if you like what you see, you like what you hear, don't forget, subscribe, follow, hit that like button on the YouTubes and all that good stuff. Don't forget to check out the stuff we have listed in the description of this episode, where you can find out other ways to help support us and support this channel, help this channel grow. We have a merchandise shop that just launched recently. I'm rocking the custom unique Barbenheimer shirt that was designed specifically by me for the shop itself.
Can you show it? I want to see it. It's beautiful. Oh my god!
Yeah, look at that.
That's beautiful
craftsmanship. Okay, and all that. I had the chance to incorporate not only the little Margot Robbie on the B, but I got the little Cillian Murphy on the eye there. Yeah, so. Yeah, nice. So a nice little thing.
Good. I saw something that looked kind of shitty. That's actually a good one.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I saw a lot of the ones rocking out there or online, and I have seen a lot of people wearing the stuff I've seen online, which is kind of cool. Just keep in mind, people who decide to buy that stuff, sometimes these shops steal designs from other people. So yeah, just
you'll
keep that in mind.
$3, but you'll burn in hell for eternity. So is it worth it?
Right.
For the price of your soul,
right.
Consider supporting people like
that. Yeah, where I actually spend the time to make it as unique as possible. Now, if the Mattel Corporation wants to come at me for using a font similar to the Barbie font, let's have a conversation. But, but other than that,
in the meantime, if you want to be the person, I saw it too, right? It's just like, oh yeah, Redbubble had a lot of those shirts. Cool shirt, bro.
Absolutely.
No, you want to be the person who's rocking the unique, one of a kind.
Right. Yep.
Oh, where'd you get that? You haven't heard of it, but I'll turn you on to it. Don't worry.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely, check it out. And again, anything that you do helps support this channel, and it goes 100% to channel. Again, our goal is to get Blake a brand new microphone. That is our goal for the rest of the year. If you guys can help chip in and support us and get Blake a mic, that would be fantastic. And we will, let's say if one person decides to donate enough money to get Blake a mic, your name will forever be on the podcast. We will have a little credit where we will shout you out every week and all that. We will put you up on the banner or whatever the case is. If there's several of you,
Mike.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that would be even better. Could you imagine?
Like, if it's a fake name, and so we say something just hilariously absurd every episode.
Yeah,
Mikey McMike face or something like that's fine. I will humiliate myself.
It's
just to see this channel get support. Speaking of microphone issues, I'm so sorry. Hey Siri, turn off the AC.
Oh, that's weird. I haven't been hearing it, so.
Okay, that's good. I wasn't sure, but normally that's one of the things we have to do because of my mic situation. So I was waiting for hopefully a segue. I'm glad you brought up.
That's really funny. Yeah. So again, if Haywood Jablomi would like to donate money for a mic, we will definitely shout your name out every episode.
We will not ask any questions about. No, we're not going to dox anybody. No.
We will just
whatever
thank you.
Your name is, that's fine. And Renee promised it will always be on every episode.
Every freaking episode. That is my word.
And my $100 to humiliate Renee for the rest of time. I'm so excited.
Shit,
I might actually do this at this point.
Hey, if you want if you want a shirt, we'll make you a shirt. I mean, we'll make you a design and we'll sell it on the shop. But let's talk about again the thing that prompted me to come up and prompted us to talk about the etiquette thing. This whole Barbenheimer thing, I don't think we really truly expected it to be as big of an event as it's turned out to be. You said, so Blake and I, we had like a couple exchanges earlier in the week. Blake was going to a movie on, I believe it was Tuesday, right? It was like Tuesday evening. You were going to see, I believe, Oppenheimer. Was it? And this was what, your second time?
For the second time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of where I am.
Yeah, so he was off to see Oppenheimer for a second time. I was attending a screening of Twisted Metal, which is this new Peacock series, but at a movie theater. And the movie theater I was at is one of like the only real true IMAX screens in the city, Lincoln Center. So I already knew that the Oppenheimer showings would be sold out. Now, this is a pretty huge theater in its own right. My goodness, the amount of people that were at that theater on a school night, literally a school night. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying like these were
summer break, but like a weeknight. Like, don't you have like there's a 2 a.m. showing of some of these movies, and it's like no one has jobs. Like what is I guess like if you're in the service industry and you get off work at 2 and you want to go to the movies, like they are selling out theaters.
Oh yeah,
and it's filling it up. And what I love about the big theaters is they have wiggle rooms. They just keep adding screens and screens and screens, and they're just going to keep filling them up. It's been amazing.
It's been
I thought it was going to be like a viral thing, like a Letterboxd way, where like movie people are aware of the Barbenheimer phenomenon. But like, no, I'm just like seeing it on the news report in the elevator at work, or like new like headlines randomly, just everywhere. It's a thing.
Yeah, no, it's
casual conversations. It was like coming up in the waiting room at the doctor's office. Like, for real, I had a whole conversation about Barbenheimer with someone who's like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And then talk about the Barbenheimer phenomenon. It's everybody.
It's been a thing ever since people started getting were made aware that Barbie and Oppenheimer were opening the same weekend. None of the studios were budging as far as moving, release dates or whatever. Counter programming. That's what they were hoping for. Yeah. And it really worked, right? The Barbenheimer moniker was actually penned by social media. It wasn't done by Warner Brothers. It wasn't done by anybody else. It was penned, just like how they do the whole Bennifer thing and all that stuff like that. It's because people love joining two names together and coming up with some sort of meme. And that's basically what spread. But who knew that it was going to spread like wildfire, like it did this time around? So much so that, and you and I, we shared an article together, or you shared an article with me that I actually read a couple days prior. That because
humble brag.
Well, yeah, well, you know me, I'm the news guy, so I'm the one who's always on top of news, and, you know, and all that. Yeah,
you're on the entertainment news. That's
right. And so people were going to watch Oppenheimer because they just couldn't get into Barbie showings because Barbie showings were all sold out. So there was like an estimated $5 to $8 million, right?
Just the first weekend.
Just the first weekend.
Like, that's amazing.
Attributed because people couldn't go.
Yeah, don't make $5 million. Like they're like, oh, this one should make some money. They're not making $5 million on opening weekend. Like that's
right.
Wild.
Right. So it's like an extra $5 to $8 million on top of already what they were making, just because people couldn't go watch Barbie, right? And I'm pretty sure vice versa, because you have people who probably want to see that 70 millimeter showing of Oppenheimer. Those are like you said, at the Lincoln Center Theater. That's sold out until August, like mid-August. So if you can't see it then, and you're like so hell-bent that you don't want to see it other way than 70 millimeter, you're going to go watch something else. And what are you going to watch? Yep. You know, Barbie, why not? Right. And especially that first weekend, the first week or what have you. So it's been like an amazing phenomenon that, yes, we are in a moment where it feels like a summer movie season, like it was back in 2015, 2016, you know, like where like a lot of people are comparing this to like Endgame. When Endgame came out, like theaters were like nuts for like several weeks. You had the showing sold out. You have people like flooding the theaters all throughout the week. You and I were at a theater on Tuesday nights that were filled to the brim. You know, and like when I say school night, these weren't young kids; these were like adults. Yeah. You know, these were adults. Sea of Pink, everyone. There was one group that I saw was 8 deep. It was like 8 deep group, and they had a serious conversation before going into the theater. They're like, "All right, who's sitting where? You're sitting next to this guy. You're sitting next to that guy." And I was just like, "Oh my god, it's like military. It's like we need to have our group situated before we get in there because everyone has this whole thing." It was
also wondering if
fascinating.
Tuesday, the Mean Girls on Tuesdays we wear pink thing. If that was
I'm sure.
It's Tuesday. We're definitely doing it now.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There was another, while we're just talking about Barbenheimer, there's a lovely TikTok that I saw. I don't know if it's viral yet, but it's this young man, and it's kind of a story about his father accepting him, and his dad agreed to Barbenheimer with him over the weekend, and the kid had them wear pink Barbie shirts.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was really cute. And then they go to Barbie first, and then it shows they get coffee, and they're going to go to Oppenheimer. They walk by the movie poster. The dad takes a picture because that's the movie the dad's excited to see. And then the movie starts, and it's Barbie again. And the dad just looks over, and he's like, ah! But then they went through it, and I thought
that's funny.
Absolutely, that's a great move.
That's great. Hilarious. That's great.
But, yeah,
that's great.
Counter programming, man. It worked. 5 to 8 million. Like Beau is Afraid made a few $100,000 on its opening weekend. 5 million from runoff Barbie sales is incredible.
It's amazing, and it's outstanding. And again, we haven't seen this in a very long time, you know. But again, I don't want to like go out there and say, "Oh, movie theaters are back, baby." No, because this is just like a quick moment in time, you know. Like in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, everything is going to drop back to like normalcy, right, and all that.
Our movie theater's dead. They lost 800% of profits since July. Yeah.
Oh my God, Barbie dropped 60% from last weekend. Like this. Well, no, it's run its time.
Continuous, yeah, of course. That's how it works.
Right, exactly. But it is just really nice to see. And again, yesterday, so. And I think timing wise, it's perfect too, because not only here on the East Coast, but I know several parts of the country, we're going through massive heat waves right now. So people are going to theaters to like escape.
AC movie
time. Yeah. And like yesterday, I went to the theater because it was freaking hot and I was tired of being home. So I went early to watch. I before my theater stopped showing it, because they're going to remove it starting next week. Indiana Jones. I said, let me give it one more shot in the theater, and I still didn't like it after the second time, but I decided to give it another shot, and plus there were a lot of people in the theater with me, who were still watching it, and they enjoyed it. People were clapping and all that. So I was like, wow, I maybe it's just me. Who knows? But then after that, I went to see Haunted Mansion. But all throughout the theater, I still saw Sea of Pink everywhere I looked. I mean, you had families. You had there was this one cute Indian family where they were wearing, I forgot, I don't know what you call them, they're the type of clothes that the women wear. It's the sari, yeah, but it was all in pink, and they were and I was just like, oh my god, this is phenomenal. This is I would never have seen this otherwise, and it's like the mom, the two daughters, they're all like that, and the dad is wearing like the pink shirt like that, and I'm just like, this is fantastic. Like it's amazing what this thing has turned into, and it doesn't seem to be stopping either, because going into now second weekend, I'm pretty sure we're going to see fantastic numbers all throughout. I think they're already predicting by the end of Sunday, Barbie would surpass 700 million globally in just its second week.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's insane. That's just insane.
I didn't realize it was that much. I'm glad you're on top of the industry news. I'm glad you're so well informed. I'm not a news guy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts. It's nuts. And, and what is it? It's not even, and this is funny because I also read that Barbie has interesting ties in Japan, and that movie's not set to open in Japan, I think, until next week. So I don't even know what the numbers are going to be like once that happens, when that opens up over there. So, and Oppenheimer is also expected to perform really well because, again, people are still really dying to see that movie, and people who are holding out for watching it in 70 millimeter IMAX. So of course, IMAX are saying like, oh, IMAX revenue has jumped tremendously. Theaters back, baby. We're all making money. Yeah, let's see what happens in September. But it's great. It's just really, really nice to see. It's fantastic to see. And again, even if this is just a brief moment in time, it is just nice to see that, yes, this can happen if you come out with compelling and interesting stories and movies, and you take proper care with them. Like Barbie turned out to be this phenom. By the way, I called it. By the way, last year I said, just wait. Barbie's going to be like that surprise thing in the summer, just like Everything Ever All at Once or Top Gun. I said it.
About the box office contest we have, because I bet on Oppenheimer and I had some bad information.
Hey, but you're not doing that. Yeah, you're doing still well with Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer is killing it. So, we'll review those numbers next week. We'll review those numbers.
About half of what Barbie's making or so. It's doing great. Yeah, it's doing so great.
Hey, I think for a Christopher Nolan movie, this movie is going to do extremely, extremely well.
Extremely well,
and deservingly so,
for a
because
3 hour movie.
Yeah. Oh, a 3-hour movie.
Biopic. Yeah. Whew.
Yeah. Who would have thought? But did you also read that because it's 70 millimeter IMAX, and since it is 3 hours, it's like pushing the limits of what on the regular IMAX. A lot of IMAX theaters are having issues with it. And so much so that they need to have a special technician on call at some theaters because they have been encountering a lot of problems with it. So now
one's like, I'm on my way. I'll fix it. Don't worry. I need this to play the correct way.
Right, exactly.
Running around theater to theater, renting cars.
That's all he's doing.
IMAX reels in the back.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. So I'm curious as to how much money some of these theaters are now paying for this special technician to just always be around to monitor, any issues with their showings and all that. But again, it just shows you what big of a deal this whole Oppenheimer IMAX situation is. But it is fantastic. It's going to be a moment in the industry that people are going to be talking about for a bit. And it's like, hey, where were you during Barbenheimer and all that?
Tell me about the great box office wars of 2023.
Yes. What is this, the tales of Barbenheimer?
What did you used to eat back then? What was the popcorn like? What is popcorn, Father?
What is popcorn? What is theater? What is cinema? Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And what better way to solidify that you've been there by getting a shirt like this? Again, promo plug. Yeah, do it. Go buy it. Popculture.shop. Hey everyone, just a quick message here that this episode is brought to you by a new shop that I just launched. That's right, popculture.shop is a new merch shop where you can not only find Low-Key Geek and eventually MovieTime merchandise, but you will find merchandise dedicated to some of the biggest things in pop culture at the moment. Whether it's movies, TV, video games, memes, or anything of the like, you'll find some of the homages to some of the biggest things that are happening currently at the time. You also eventually will find some cool retro throwbacks in here and there. The shop just launched, so bear with me. I'm filling in the inventory, but you'll find new stuff dropping every week. But to help celebrate the launch of this brand new merch shop, I'm giving all of you, the listeners, subscribers here at the Low-Key Geek channel, a nice little discount to check it out. So if you use the code LOWKEYGEEK at checkout, you'll get yourself a nice little 15% discount. So definitely check it out. This is another great way to help support the channel and show your love and support for everything that we do here. But it's also a brand new venture of my own, just going out into the retail market. So any support that you could throw our way would be greatly appreciated. So once again, that is Pop Couture, popculture.shop, popculture.shop, a shop for geeks who are chic. Hey, no, I'm not Ryan Reynolds, but I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with the Mint Mobile ads that he puts out there, whether it's on TV, YouTube, social media, or what have you. And I'm sure a lot of you are very, wondering and very skeptical that how good is Mint Mobile? Is it really worth all the hype and all the, huge discounts every month and all the promotions and stuff like that? Well, I was very much like you. And late last year, I decided to take the plunge and try it out myself because I was honestly tired of paying so much money every month on my cell phone bill. I was a huge long-term Verizon customer, and I was paying $80 a month on my cell phone bill, which is ridiculous. Even given the fact that, I'm not really working a regular job like I used to. So saving money is important to me. But of course, I don't want to sacrifice quality in my cell service, especially when it comes to data and all that. So I decided to give it a shot. And I have to say, I am extremely pleased with the service I'm getting. I haven't noticed any drop in quality. And, for what I'm paying, I feel like I'm definitely getting more bang for my buck. And I want to be able to share that experience with you so that if you're in the same boat as I was, maybe it's time for you to give it a shot yourself. And right now, they have this amazing offer where you can sign up for them and you will be able to get 3 months unlimited data for $15 a month for your first 3 months. I mean, that is an insane discount. And I highly recommend you check it out and try it for yourself if you're looking for a change. Switching over from your cell, service is not going to be difficult. I did it it didn't take long at all to do it. As soon as I got the kit and my SIM card in the mail, I was able to switch it out and bing, bang, boom, all said and done. If you're looking for a new phone and you're happening to maybe eyeing one of those new Google Pixel phones, they have a special offer where you could save $200 on a brand new phone and receive 6 months of free service when you purchase a device and 6 months of service. So right now, I think is a good time more than any to give this a shot for yourself. So check out the link I have especially provided for you in the description of this video, this episode here, and give Mint Mobile a shot. And if you do, let me know what you think about it, because I was, again, pleasantly surprised and very happy with how everything turned out. But I think overall, I'm just happy to be saving a lot of money every month on my cell phone bill. And I think you'll be happy too. So, Mint Mobile, check out the link in the description. And thanks for checking them out. Thanks, Mint Mobile. Honestly, during this whole Barbenheimer moment, I have not come across any of the issues that we're going to be talking about today. Surprisingly so.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great audiences so far.
Yeah.
Except me. But other than that, everyone's great.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, I think any moment you go to a theater these days, you are going to come across something, you know, and to be fair, and this is just me playing devil's advocate right now, just briefly for this brief moment. There are a lot of people for the last 3 years who haven't gone to theaters because of everything that's been happening, you know, pandemic wise and all that. A lot of people are returning to theaters for the very first time within the last month or two, especially with the whole Barbenheimer thing. I think there's a lot of
Indiana
people.
Jones, Mission Impossible, and now Barbenheimer.
Absolutely.
And then Theater Camp, which I saw and absolutely adored. So
really? Is it really that good?
We'll talk about it another time.
Okay.
Loved it. About 6 people in the audience, which was a nice break from the crazy crowds of Barbenheimer. Every person in the audience laughed so much. It was about
really?
a 80 to 90-minute movie. You're rare to get a shorty like that. So after just the onslaught of Barbenheimer and seeing Oppenheimer twice now,
sure,
it was such a delightful break from all of that. And it was just a lighthearted, lovely adult R-rated comedy about a theater camp. So,
okay.
If you see the trailer and you're like, oh, that might be for me, it's for you. It was way better. Like I was worried it was all the jokes were in the trailer.
Yeah.
That trailer was exactly how it was for an hour and a half. It was incredible. So if you
That's
do want to break from the Barbenheimer of it all, we got other options too.
That's a Ben Platt, right? The oldest person to ever be cast as a high schooler, right?
Yeah, and I was making a movie about theater camp, or he's in it. Yeah. But the female lead is also the co-director, and now I'm forgetting her name, but Molly Gordon. There we go.
Okay.
Actually, a really good cast. People I didn't know were even in it all throughout. High quality comedy. If you're in any way a fan of Broadway musicals or were ever in a drama class,
right,
you will absolutely eat it up. It was, if you know who Andrew Lloyd Webber is,
sure,
you could maybe sing one of his songs at a karaoke night. It's an amazing movie. If you won't know any of the references, it probably won't be as good, but still good comedy. I think basically anybody will be able to laugh at these folks taking themselves very seriously, doing ridiculous things. So yeah, it was good.
I feel like, especially when I saw the trailer, they know their audience, so they know who they're targeting for a movie like that, and I think that's pretty smart. So that's good to know. Okay, that's a great option to, again, we're going through this crazy heat wave, something to just escape and be in a nice AC place for a bit and just watch some movies. And yeah, if you want to break from, you know, Barbie and Oppenheimer and all that stuff, it's good to know that we have that option. But when you do go to the theater, there are certain things you should probably be mindful of. And let's talk about some of these things, some of the situations we've been in that bring up some of these pet peeves, these no-nos, these do's and don'ts. I'll start off first. And maybe what I'll do is that I'll start calling things out, like from like lowest offenses to like the major offenses. We'll work our way to like the biggest things, right? And I'm pretty sure.
I'm excited for your final one. Holy shit, this is gonna be wild.
You know,
if you get riled up, I might try to calm you down, but some of these are rileable.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Renee's blood boil a little bit,
which rarely happens. And then if it does happen, I'm glad that it's being caught on video right now. So I think what I'll start off first, and this is something that actually happened to me last night. And again, I think it's also it's a circumstance because people are going to theaters for the very first time in a couple of years. This is still a quote unquote new concept for a lot of people, and that is not taking the seat that you purchased. You know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good call.
So there's, I mean, I would say probably in the last 5 years, the concept of reserving your seat at a movie theater has started to become prominent, and a lot of theaters are adapting to it and all that. it all started with the major theater chains, right? Their AMC's, your Regals, your UA's, United Artists. Is that even still a thing? I don't, probably not. But those major chains, they allowed you to start reserving seats for showings, And I remember back in the day when you weren't able to do that, you had to show up to a movie at least an hour ahead to ensure, especially if it was like an opening weekend for like a blockbuster movie, make sure you're there an hour in advance to at least get a seat that you'll be happy with, right? Because if not, you're pretty much going to get asked out and you're going to get seats that you probably don't want. Unless you're Blake, who doesn't mind sitting so close to the screen, then those seats will always be available, no matter what. So someone like Blake, perfectly fine. Not a worry, really. But if you're particular about that kind of stuff, you have to make sure you secured your seat. But now you can reserve your seat either through the app, or even when you go to the theater, you could, when you purchase your ticket, the person will ask you where you want to sit, or through the little screen, you get to do all that stuff. Now, for American audiences, this is a pretty new concept. For people who are not from America, there are theaters I've been to outside of the country that have been doing this for a very long time. And so this is not a new concept to them. It's just new for us, pretty much. So for a lot of people, maybe they are not aware that maybe it's a good idea to kind of stick to your assigned seat, because if it's someone like me, I purchase a seat specifically for my own reasons. Maybe I like to be next to the aisle. If you're someone like Blake who knows that there may be a time that they're going to run to the bathroom, he doesn't want to be a nuisance to anyone, so he'll specifically get an aisle seat so he can have like easy in and go. Go in and out. I'm just stating what you've told me, so I'm not trying to call you out or anything. So there are things like that. Last night I'm going into Indiana Jones, and the minute I walk in, boom, guy in my seat. Not only just in my seat, but he's with his girl next to him. Obviously, they didn't read where the seats were and all that, so they just plopped their asses down on the seat. Now, if I cared and I knew that this was going to be like a crowded theater, I would have said something. But I knew it wasn't, and there were more seats in the front. And I realized that it's one of those theaters that it's actually better to be closer because the screen is kind of small. So I found a seat closer to the screen, and I was perfectly fine. And I didn't give two shits about it. But it's not the first time that's happened, and I actually see it happen to other people when they're coming in, and then I hear the conversation. I think you're in my seat, and blah, blah, this and that. And then I always love the common response is, really? You sure? And you're like, oh my God. Or
there's no way I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I had a guy, wait, was this your experience or mine? Is this a false memory? Sorry, am I interrupting?
Oh, no. What were you going to say?
I just got worked up. It was the person. No, okay. I've had this experience, but someone had it to such an extreme degree. It was a big sellout movie, an early screening, and the guy says, like, no, this is my seat. This is my seat.
Yeah.
He shows the person the movie ticket. It's the wrong day. And he goes, oh,
nice.
I'm so sorry. No, your movie's actually tomorrow. He looks at it, he goes, no, this is my seat. And the person's like, oh, let me show you what day it is. I don't know what to do at this point. They show them the day, and the guy's like, this is my seat. And like getting belligerent. Finally, security had to come at that point. It was like, this guy doesn't give a damn. He doesn't want to have to come back tomorrow. He's hoping he can get away with it.
Right.
Sorry, but they're my favorite. Yeah, the person's like, no, trust me, this is my seat. And every now and then, I have been wrong. Actually, happened last night at a jazz show. I misread which seat was which, and I was like, and the person was like, no, this is your seat. Okay, thank goodness. It wasn't an issue. Yeah. But every now and then, especially at the movie theater, sometimes the lettering, I'm a little confused on which one's D or which one's E or whatever. Yeah. It can be, just double check yourself.
Yeah.
And then either politely ask the person, and if there's an issue, security time.
I mean,
they can sort that out, right?
Yeah, I will say like the theaters could do a better job at like really making it more legible and more aware as to what row this is.
It's dark.
Yeah.
I was at a theater recently where it's the movie, like the trailers have started, so it's dark inside. Mm-hmm. I could not see, so I had to pull out my phone light, and I didn't want to do that. I'm glad the movie hadn't already started, but I literally couldn't see the seat number without doing that. I will say, going to put a little bit of that on theaters.
Sure. Yeah, theaters definitely need to be better at that. And again, it kind of shows you how new this still is because, theaters didn't have to worry about that stuff before. Now they do. So I think making the letters of the rows more legible, it will be helpful. The numbers on the seats more legible. Maybe have it like lit up, like little, the little whatever template or whatever the thing is, like have that lit up and all that. But I've heard people, trying to reason like, oh no, this is row G, isn't it? And it's really D. And I'm like, oh, and then they're like, oh, my bad. And then they realize that they just don't know the alphabet. And it's so funny how it's always, no, you're wrong, I'm right. And then like, just take a look, just because you never know. Mistakes happen all the time. Now, my biggest pet peeve was when this was still kind of new. And first of all, I loved it immediately when I knew I could reserve my seat. I was like, perfect. I can get my seat properly and all that kind of stuff like that. You have those people who probably bought their ticket last minute, right? So what they thought that they could do is that they'll buy separate seats and they'll try to convince the one person at one of the other seats, hey, this is my wife. Do you mind moving and taking my seat so I could just sit next to her? I'm like, homie. Like, again, there's a reason why I got this seat. You should have known this in advance, and all that. So why did you buy it?
We're now subject to a stranger's decision, and you do not get to be mad if they push back.
Exactly.
Airplanes, it's a similar deal. It's like, maybe someone will be nice. Odds are someone might even feel bad for you. It'll be a little charity. They'll be like, I hate you right now, but okay, fine. But it's not your right to take someone else's seat. That's not how the thing works. Yeah. I've had that thought before. It was like, okay, this thing sold out, but friend could, and maybe, but you can't bank on it. It's similar to, what I think is interesting is there's the wheelchair companion seats. And it'll say sometimes when you book it, in some places it doesn't say, but you can book those. But if someone shows up and needs that seat and they have, I don't know if theaters even ask for documentation or whatever, but if they need that seat, you're gone. You're out. And if it's a sold out theater, you don't get to see that movie. And if you're trying to decide, should I see the 8 p.m. or the 11 p.m. and the 11 p.m. sold out by that point, you just don't get to go to that movie. You're done. Anymore. Yeah, you're done. Like that system, but it's another one of those things. It's a gamble. If you do it, you can absolutely do it. And from what I've seen, often those are not taken. Yeah. In fact, what I'll do sometimes is I'll get a worse seat and I'll keep an eye, especially because I like sitting near the front. But every now and then those have more leg room, right? And so I'll keep an eye on it. I'm very tall. I guess there's some people maybe who've never seen. I'm 8'11", and the problem is if
extremely tall.
You're sitting in the tight movie theater, like you're doing this for an entire movie. Every
now
and then I'll just move over to one of those seats because I don't like taking those gambles. But if you're a risk taker, if you want to roll the dice, you can book one of those seats or see if Renee will move for you. And
I remember I got so mad because I was like, fine, I'll move. And I was with a date at the time, and I had a hot dog. And I was so mad that I was getting up because when you sit down, you have your shit all out, right? So you have your hot dog in hand. This was winter, so I had my jacket here and all that kind of stuff. So I was gathering all my stuff. And of course, this has to happen minutes before the movie is about to start rolling. And what happened? My hot dog fell on the floor. And I was like, motherfucker. So the whole movie, I was thinking about my hot dog and how I wasn't able to hit my hot dog because asshole wanted to sit next to his wife that they didn't book their tickets well in advance for Gravity that opening weekend. So for a while, I couldn't watch Gravity because all I could think of was my fucking hot dog on the floor.
Now, Renee, this is going to be a silly question. He threw your hot dog on the floor? How is it his fault that you dropped your hot dog?
Because in my chaotic movement and like gathering of my shit, I was so clumsy in gathering up.
Did he force your body to move chaotically, or you moved your body chaotically? Did he shove you, or like, why is your hot dog on the ground? It's because you stood up too quickly, or what's going on?
It's because I was flustered. Yes, I was flustered.
Oh, poor Renee.
Yes, it is my fault. No, I know it. I was
right to be mad. Yeah, I would be, and I blame people too. I'm like, they made me throw my hot dog on the ground.
It's like if this guy was smart enough to book another seat, or just booked earlier, then I wouldn't have to go through.
I'd have fucking hot dog.
I'd have a hot dog.
Right, that's so
yeah. And
this man stole my hot dog,
yeah.
sir. Security, this man's a hot dog thief.
It's insane. And you know, like you go to theaters, you know how much hot dogs are. They're expensive. So it's like, man, fuck. Yeah. Expensive hot dog on the floor, uneaten, unable to serve its purpose.
And that is to get him. So he had to deal with the hot dog, or did you pick it up?
No, I left it there.
You should have left it there.
Yeah, I did.
Good.
No, I left it.
His feet are like slippery.
Yeah, I hope he smelt it the whole time. I hope he smelt the hot dog. Yeah, and I hope he's vegan too.
That's awful. But you know that when you're in that worked up state of mind and you're just like thinking of ways to get back at the person or like horrible, and you're like, I hope his socks are full of ketchup or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's probably time to either say something or do something about the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't. But I've noticed when I'm not enjoying a movie, because I'm like, if that person makes that sound, and they made it again, but then I'm not doing anything about it, like I'm just not going to enjoy the movie. There's times where, like, if I really won't do something, I should walk away.
Sure.
Because it can, especially if it's a movie that you're Star Wars opening night and you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that ruined because of that. And yes, it is the other person's fault. And yes, they deserve a sock full of ketchup and mustard or whatever Renee puts on his hot dogs. But at the same time, at some point, there's the part where, like, I'm not enjoying the movie, and there's only like you don't have good options, but you got to take one of them, and you can just fume like Renee and the other guys smelling hot dog the whole movie.
That's it. Great. That's it. Yeah, but Gravity is a great movie. I was able to watch it again afterwards, and I really enjoyed it. So that's my first one. Let's go to you. Like, what is something that you want to highlight?
I have a few that are theater rules because, like, I really enjoy going to Broadway, but these apply to movie theaters just as well. But movie theater culture doesn't fully adopt them. So a few of these are things that I don't think are widespread in movie theater etiquette, but are theater etiquette and should be. This is one where if you can help it, you don't sit directly in front of someone. Basically, what I'm saying is, if it's a sold out movie, there's only so much you can do. And sometimes a movie will sell out, especially where you get to reserve in advance, and then people cancel the last minute. They don't even show because it's free with their, A-list or whatever they have. Sometimes seats will open up and I'll even move so that I'm not in front of someone.
Yeah.
But the general rule is you wouldn't sit in someone's line of sight. And it can have this weird effect and you can kind of fight, but you essentially want to see people like checkered like around the theater and have, I try to do 2 seats between me and another person on either side and 2 seats in front of someone if I can't help it. Now, I don't want to necessarily sit in the back corner just because that's how full the theater is. And especially if I'm assuming it'll sell out and I'm buying my ticket early, I'll kind of, there's only so much you can do. But my favorite thing somebody found, it was somebody tweeted they were the only person in the movie theater. Then they check again before to see how full it is, and someone else had bought a seat directly next to them, and there were only 2 seats sold in the entire theater. And they're like, what psycho is choosing? And can you imagine the look on the person's face when you sit next to them?
Dude, that's happened to me. That's happened to me. Yeah.
What? Because this isn't okay. Like, this is a crime in my world. Like, if I'm the president, this is one of the first, no one ever gets to do that because that is violent. Even if you don't look at, smell, talk to them. I'm assuming they do it so they can smell your cologne. What happened?
It was one of those rows that wasn't fully booked. And it wasn't like a sold out showing either.
Okay, and that's where it's really weird, where there's no one around and it's a creepy movie theater and someone sits next to you. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's like
really happen. But still,
I had a aisle seat, because I do like to be by the aisle because I just want to be able to freely go in and out if I have to.
With more leg room, you can kind of
you have that little option to put your leg out and all that, right? Yeah. For some reason, homeboy booked the ticket right next to me, seat right next to me, but there was multiple options throughout the theater where that person could have sat, and I'm like, why? What? Like, I don't understand,
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to find
the one. The most
obnoxious seat is. Yeah. Because there are some theaters, right, where they have the stairs and then 2 seats to the right of the stairs.
Yeah.
And that's a weird one. If I'm going to be in the corner and then someone books a seat right now, I think I had to do it. This was years ago. It was Twilight, the final movie. I had just binged the franchise so I could be caught up and go to I love a good movie premiere night, opening night. But the seats were such that I had to be in the weird corner next to something. But it was a full theater, so that's just going to happen. That said, if there's other seats, you don't want to box somebody in as a stranger. And then, it's the same thing with airplanes, right? Like some of these things we're talking about could be applied to Southwest. Like if it's not a full flight, and like don't ruin someone's entire flight and have them asking, what kind of sicko are you the entire duration of the movie? Yeah, that's troubling. Yeah, that's not, avoid it if you can. But essentially, and I see people don't do this in movie theaters, especially. Because everyone wants the middle of the middle, usually. The middle, left to right, and on the XY axis, just the very middle. So what happens is 2 people book here, 2 people book right in front of them, 2 people book right in front of them, then people book next to them. I always try to bake in, unless I know it's going to be sold out, that's anything goes. But otherwise, I try to bake in at least one seat between me and the other person if it's not going to be sold out. And if I'm booking it kind of near last minute, just be mindful of that. Some people want personal space. Some people might want you to sit next to them. I don't know. Maybe ask first instead of just surprising them with another person in their third wheeling. They're making out next to you the whole, like, if you want that, sure, but they might not.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good thing to keep in mind too. But it's so funny that you said that, because so prior to us recording, we were talking about, Blake was saying, there's some things that bother me, but I wish I could remember all the instances where this occurred. And I said, yeah, unfortunately, I remember all those instances. So you can mention something and I'll bring up something. And then when you said that, immediately it reminded me, is like, why did this homeboy sit next to me when there's so many other seats everywhere? It's like he purposely booked his ticket, unless it was assigned to him. But then if I saw, like, on the grid that there was another person sitting next to me, I'd be like, I could take another seat somewhere else. Like, it's like,
when you say assigned to him, you mean like the ticket seller?
Yeah. Like sometimes they'll just like automatically give you something.
No, they'll be like, is this seat okay? And then that's also maybe not his fault, but the movie seller, the ticket seller's fault. But still, somebody at some point chose that seat.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
He just clicked the wrong one. He goes, I don't want to sit next to that guy. Damn it, I'm almost out of time. Go.
Yeah, well. Good luck.
I gotta get this ticket. Yeah. He was also bothered, or he thought you could have bought the tickets at the same time, and he thought you were the weirdo.
Right. Yeah.
By the way, like, this guy's a weirdo. I know that much. You guys were having the exact same thoughts about each other.
It's so funny. But something that will go along with that too is the armrest situation. So I feel like this is something that is, because there is, believe it or not, there is a systematic way to decide which armrest you should use or not.
Both of them.
Exactly. Thank you.
As much of it as you can, spread out, baby.
Yeah, because
this is your world and we're all just living in it. If you're one of those people, fuck you.
That's it. Because look, you got the 2 cup holders, so you need one for your drink, and I need one for my cell phone, where I can put my cell phone there. And look, I'm good to go. I'm Gucci.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to take my cell phone holder?
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you?
My cell phone holder?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I don't know the system, and I actually wondered this recently.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of, you read the room, and you're like, that one's free, that one's not. I'll go with this one. What's the system?
So from what I've gathered in most theaters is that the safe bet is always to choose the right armrest. Yeah. Because if you look at the entire row, every person who let's say that rule is full. If everyone chose the right armrest, everyone will have a cup holder dedicated to them. Now, and also that goes along with the majority of people who go to, who are in theaters, or just majority of people in general, are right-handed. So right-handed people tend to want the right armrest.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
You assume right because most people are right-handed. Okay.
Yeah. Now, what I do is I pay attention to the first seat in the row I'm going into, because there are some theaters that first armrest near the aisle doesn't have a cup holder. So you have to be mindful.
Right, because it's the aisle one, and I've seen that. That's what actually threw me. And I could imagine a system where it's like all the way up till the middle. You're supposed to go left if you're on the right half, right, kind of thing.
Right. So like if you're
I couldn't even see over there because it was dark during the trailer or something. I was just like trying to figure it out. and then just figured I would just keep an eye and made sure everyone had a cup holder.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's all you really should do. Is just keep an eye out to see like who has one, who doesn't have one. If you're like dead center, that could be a tricky situation, but that's when you have like a kind of maybe a brief conversation. It's like, hey, are you using that armrest, or can I use that armrest, like that? It's just a quick thing and all that. But I hate people who assume that they could just like plop something down, or people who do just claim both armrests, and they're just like, well, here's my keys and my my little purse, and this is where my drink is. And then when you sit down next to them, it's this. And then they have to take something out. It's like, it's not my fault you assume, that no one's going to sit next to you, and all that. So, but that's always a tricky situation when it comes to the whole arm resting. Well, I mean, I think we were talking it through, but do you have any other like takes on the whole armrest situation thing?
I think my next rule is kind of related, so I'm going to segue into that one. But the only thing I actually on the armrest thing, there's this other weird thing that happens. It's airplanes and in general. First off, this is something that my mom taught me from a young age. My general rule is I'm a bigger dude, as I mentioned earlier. I'm 8'11".
8'11". Yep.
And so, but anyway, in general, I make myself smaller at concerts. This is another related thing. If you're a tall person, just be like, look behind you. And if you can see just as well behind you, that person, let them in front of you. And if you're like a single dude who's just been manspreading your whole life, that person might really enjoy your company more than if you had been standing in front of them. And you might actually get to meet their friend or something. I don't know. Might get a wingman out of the deal. I don't know. But in general, I try to like just be mindful of that. And it's something that my mom, and she would actually point it out growing up, go look, and it's the kind of thing, like, especially in the like Believe Women era, that women have been bringing up apparently for a long time. But my mom's explained it like, I never get an armrest if there's a man next to me. And I was like, really? Because this has not been my world. I never noticed it or seen it. She started pointing out, and every time I saw it, I was like, wow. Yeah. It's all the time. So
dudes claim both armrests all the time.
Depending on your chromosomes and how you identify and whatever your place in the world, if you've never thought about this before, just start looking out for it. And if you notice, and the other problem is a lot of women won't confront that man because they don't want to have a conflict for other societal reasons. So a lot of times they just get away with it. And some dudes spend their whole lives manspreading on subways and putting their arms on both armrests. Mm-hmm. So I try to, if there is a situation, I'm thinking of airplanes where basically kind of everyone has two, there's no cup holder, whatever, is I will usually air towards, you can cross your arms, you don't have to use the armrest, folks. Secondly, is if there is an armrest sharing situation, you can kind of use the back half and they can use the front half, or vice versa, especially airplanes where it's more cramped than movie theaters. You can kind of like divvy it up and just read the room, or if you need to ask, it's okay. People don't communicate enough is something I know. A lot of people just are angry and resentful for an entire flight. If you just said like, hey, I'm so sorry, but is it okay if you're in my whatever? Like a lot of people, sure, there is a tiny chance there's a fight, but the way we kind of evolve is our brains go, there's a 1% chance this will result in a fight. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you're just like anxious and worked up the whole time. Most of the time people want to do right by other people. And so you could talk about it or you just read the situation. And if they're taking the front of the armrest, I think if it's all things equal, don't take someone else's armrest if it's not yours, obviously. Right. Definitely don't lean over them and use both of their armrests with one of your armrests. Right. Yeah. But most of the time you can use half an armrest and the other person can use the other half, depending on kind of where bodies are and who's leaning back or whatever. And I've had it before where there's a little dance. Then they switch back. I'm like, okay, no problem, move up here. That's fine, I think. Yeah. No, overall, you get one whole armrest to yourself, not two full armrests. Not two full ones, when there's people on both sides of you. That's not how the world works. We're talking, a lot of these are just golden rule stuff. Like, well, it's just you want to be treated, don't be an asshole and be considerate of others. Right. That's the thing. It's just being considerate and just courtesy. It's just like, and it's just be mindful of your neighbor. It's just one of those things. And it's funny how, again, oblivious some people are to a lot of that stuff, and unfortunately also ignorant, and I think that's just an unfortunate situation. It's selfishness too. There's obliviousness and there's the self-serving obliviousness, which is like, if I don't ever look around me, I don't ever have to worry if I'm being an asshole. Right. Like, it's my world, so I'm living in it. Right. Right. And in that case, be a good host. to all of your guests, the rest
Yes.
of us humble peasants who are just would like maybe one part of one armrest or whatever.
Yeah, just like or like you said, a section of an armrest is good enough for me. So yeah, I totally agree. When it comes to seats and sharing, and I feel like this is more to do with people who live in like bigger cities or cities with reliable transportation. Your bags and stuff that you decide to bring to theaters with you. Now, I have a funny situation. I kind of shared it with Blake earlier. Was I went to the Flash screening, and there was a lady in front of me in line as we were waiting to go inside, and she went on a nice little shopping spree at IKEA, bought herself a nice like floor standing lamp, and brought the lamp with her to this screening. You know, and again, this is like a New York moment situation where you'll only see this in New York, really. Because in most places, people drive to the movie theaters, right? So they have their cars and all that. So the only thing they're bringing with them is like maybe their pocketbook or their keys or whatever the case is. But here in New York, people go to the movie theaters after work, after the gym, after shopping and all that. And there are moments where I see people bring bags and bags with them or a giant book bag or whatever the case is. If you know you have all that shit with you, just be mindful that you have that stuff with you and don't hit the next person with you with your bags and shit. Don't put your bag in an aisle where you know people are going to be walking in and out of. And I know this could be tough and everything. But if you're going to a theater, just be mindful that this is going to end up being a situation where maybe someone's going to get annoyed that you have all this shit with you. So knowing that you could choose your seat, maybe sit somewhere next to the wall, you know, or maybe a little somewhere where there's not a lot of people, you know, or you have more room, or maybe go home first and then go to the theater. Because there are so many situations where I've been in where someone decided to go grocery shopping or something, and they have like 3 bags with them and they're going to the theater. Where are you going to put this stuff? You know, so everything is in front of them. And every time someone has to go to the bathroom, it's like now they're climbing Mount Everest and they're doing like an expedition, right? So now they're climbing over someone's bag, or the person has to pick the bag up and put it in front of them on their lap, or they stand up and they have to do all this stuff. And it becomes a big to-do and all that. I don't know what homegirl did with her lamp, or maybe I don't want to know what she did with her lamp. But could you imagine, like, where, like, did she leave her lamp in the aisle, like in like the walkway, or whatever? You know, like, you know, it's just amazing. Where would you put it?
Yeah, under the seat. Sorry, under the seat.
Under the seat.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
it's kind of like, to me, I try to go with the airplane rule of put it under your seat, or actually under the seat in front of you,
or whatever.
In movie theater, your seat. If you can put it there, that's great. Or at least try to like kind of oonch it there. That way it's only barely sticking out. Be mindful of backpack straps. Seen people trip at movie theaters on a strap that's just dangling out. If you're putting your soda or popcorn on the ground, that's on you. If someone walks by, it's a dark theater. They can't know everything that's on the ground if they can't see it. Mm-hmm. So you don't get to be mad if they kick your soda across the movie theater. That's your fault.
Yeah.
Where your feet are and how you kind of like... Good policy is to stand up and let the person wait. Are we talking? We're talking about stuff right now. We're not talking about how you move around a theater. That's another one. I'll let you.
No, that's fine.
But overall, just being mindful of getting your stuff out of people's way, and will it mess with someone if they're running full speed through the aisle in the middle of the movie, like The Flash, and then they see a lamp and then just kick it? Will there be an injury possibly?
or they just such a trip, and then now they're rolling down the aisles and all that, like down the stairways and all that, and now that becomes a whole other distraction. But yeah, just be mindful of all your shit, or maybe just don't bring shit to the theater. Like, I'm sorry, you know, like, go home first, or whatever the case is. What have you had in a situation where like someone's stuff annoyed you, or you had to encounter like this mountain of stuff?
To me, it's kind of all the time, because in New York City,
Yeah.
You don't get to leave your stuff in the car, and it's just backpacks and feet out, which is another thing we'll get to, but like feet out in the aisle. And so I'm just trying to like be mindful of it, and I don't want to bother anyone. But it's essentially impossible. There's times if you don't really have to leave during the movie, don't, because it can be a whole mess. Especially there's one thing in particular. It's an IMAX, and there's no middle aisle. It's just if you're in the middle,
it's one giant row.
30 to 40 people or so. If it's a sold out screening, it's wild. You're literally like it is essentially dangerous. You can step on someone, you can kick their stuff.
Yep.
So one thing I think about is when I'm doing that, the recliner seats is a whole nother game. You're trying to like angle around them. It's just like generally be mindful of people's stuff, of other people when you're putting your stuff out. It's a little tricky because you have the recliner coming out. So you think, oh, I'll lean it against the seat in front of me. But now if someone's coming through, their obstacle course includes a seat up to here, then a backpack and another seat with no room. They're going to jump your backpack? Best you can, put it next to you, climb back, and then shove it.
And then shove it right underneath it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, what's going to happen when you have to unrecline? Just move it. Like as long as you can kind of reach down there, or you can stand up and move things around. It'd be better to do that than to cause other people an issue for an entire movie. Inconvenience yourself slightly, and you're less likely to, I don't know, face a lawsuit for someone breaking their leg on your backpack. That's just literally can't get around it.
Yeah,
it is a game though when you're annoyed by how people are acting, and you now have permission to kick their backpack and drag it with you all the way to the rest, and then it's hooked on your foot, and you can just kind of the whole way down every single step as loudly. It's your backpack now. That's how you get a free backpack.
That's it. It's mine now. It attached to me. It clung to me. That's it. Now I claim it.
This was just in the shared space, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Sorry.
How would I have known that was your backpack? It was in the aisle.
Yeah. One of the best experiences I had at a movie theater was this one time in Japan where, and this is one of those situations where, when AMC started charging for like premium seats, I was okay with that because, again, other countries have been doing that, and Japan, for one, does that, where they have these like special premium seats in the middle of the theater, but they're a premium and you feel like you're getting a premium because you get a seat, but you also have a table next to you and you have dividers on the side, because that's done also, from what my friends told me, for, let's say you're a mother and you need to bring your baby to a theater, you want to watch a movie. Now you have a place to put the baby seat right next to you, and you have dividers so you don't disturb people next to you, in case like the baby starts to cry a little bit or whatever the case is. But I loved it because I put my bag there. I had a place for all my snacks, and then I had these dividers so I could like not hear this person next to me or that person next to me. I mean, could you imagine if we had that kind of stuff here? Oh no, we can't, because it'll be ruined like in a week. Someone's gonna abuse the shit out of it, and all that. But I mean, it's just one of those things where imagine if we were able to have that kind of stuff and all that. So in a more metropolitan area, people with bags will now have a place to put their stuff and not inconvenience a lot of other people, so who knows, maybe in the future. But what other stuff you have there?
We're talking about things being in people's area. Feet should never, ever be on my armrest from behind when I'm sitting. Ever.
Thank you.
The armrest, not footrest, is armrest. You want a footrest? Bring on footrest. I don't want to use my armrest as a footrest. I, as a person who's 9.5 feet tall, I do have an issue.
Oh, you grew. You grew in the last 10 minutes.
No, I was always 9.5 feet.
Oh, I thought it was 8 and 11. Oh, okay, now it's 9. Okay, that's fine. That's right.
Met me.
I'm drunk. I'm drunk.
There are times no one's in the row in front of me, and here's another one. If I'm sitting here and you're not using my armrest, but you're moving using one armrest away, don't put your feet there. That's weird. If your feet are in smelling distance, and trust me, they are basically within like 10 feet or so, or visual distance where I just go like, oh, wait, why is there movement next to me? I thought it was empty. Oh, it's just a loose foot, just a disembodied foot hanging out. Shoeless, like don't take off your shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what your situation is, or can't have to, but usually a good idea if you can help it. Don't take off your shoes. I will use the armrest area, like the blanket in front of me, as a small like footrest to like stretch out for a second. if there's essentially no one on that aisle, or they're so far away that the curvature of the theater, it's not in their line of sight. But essentially, if it's in line of sight, line of smell, don't have your feet anywhere in that area. They've got the recliner situation. Okay, now your foot's in. Good job. But otherwise, having it up on the back of the seat in front of you, on the armrest, just don't do that unless you are fully. And I will do it. I'll lean forward and check and just like go left or right. Just make sure there's. Sometimes one time I started to do it, and then like I saw some movement. I was like, oh, it's a short person or a child who's 2 seats over. I could not see them from where I was at if I hadn't double checked. But yeah, you don't want to ruin. There's some like kid watching an animated movie, their dad's in the bathroom, and
right.
They're just now foot in their face the whole time.
Right.
That's not good. Just double check. It's better to double check. Inconvenience yourself slightly and make someone's night so much better than a foot in the face movie experience.
Right.
You don't need that.
Right. And to go along with that too, like if you for some reason can't help yourself but putting your feet up on someone, like on the back of a seat or an armrest in front of you, wait until the movie's already playing to do it. Because like sometimes if you do it before the movie starts, someone may just eventually sit there. When I go to a row and I see someone already had their foot there, I don't want to sit there anymore. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, I don't know what the guy, if this person stepped on shit or whatever the case is. I don't want to be around that stuff. There's nothing worse than sitting somewhere and then all of a sudden I just see foot up. Like, it's like, why do you have to do that? It's like, we're not home. You're not at your home and all that. Yeah.
You did pay for that seat, but not the other seats around you.
Right, exactly.
Not foot seats.
Yeah.
Overall, when there are times someone's using the armrest foot concept or the back of the chair, whatever, and then I'm walking in, and generally if you see, like, just be mindful. If you're so oblivious and talking to your friend or whatever and you're too comfortable, it might happen. But as soon as you can notice someone is starting to sit in that seat, move your foot off. And if you know, the other thing I'll do is someone's walking by that seat and I'll move my foot off in case that's their seat. And then they keep walking, right? Then you get to take it back. But a lot of these can apply to airplanes too. Yeah. But we're talking movie theaters today. Just be mindful of that. I'm not going to use your wait till the movie starts rule. I'm way too tall for that. I'm going to move my foot because you're a germaphobe. That's on you, buddy. I'm sorry.
I get it. When you're 10 feet tall, I get how it's like really, really hard and all that. I totally get it. I totally get it.
Thank you.
So speaking of being aware of your surroundings and all that, let's get into the whole movement in theaters. And one of my biggest issues is when people have to run up and down the stairs, like within the theater, especially during a movie. Because I think one thing that people don't understand is that the way theaters are kind of built, they're built like bleachers, right? So basically you have like carpeted bleachers, yeah. So they're hollow. Like the floors that we are standing on are hollow. So that means they make noise and they vibrate. Just like a bleacher would at a freaking baseball game, at a freaking, college game, whatever the case is. So when you run, you are vibrating every freaking row that you're running down and all that. And plus you're making a shit ton of noise and all that. I get it. You want to rush to the bathroom because you don't want to miss anything, but don't run. Because what's worse too is that if you trip, and I've seen this happen, where someone's running and they miss a step and now they fall. Now you just created another whole distraction in the movie outside of your noise and your vibrations and all that stuff like that. Plus, there's a lot of people who think it's a great idea that in order to be faster, let me jump at the end to make sure I can get down even quicker and all that.
That way I won't bother people for as long of a time. Like it's like the opening a bag of chips, which might be another one, sorry. But it's just like, do it as fast as possible and it'll be louder. But when it comes to the stairs, faster is unnecessary. Because you could do it in a way that doesn't make any sound if you just kind of walk at a normal speed.
Yeah, there's a way to like walk faster and all that, without creating such a ruckus and everything. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but before we continue, I wanted to quickly talk about Bulletproof Coffee. Bulletproof Coffee is my favorite coffee of choice to start off my mornings with. Why? Because it's clean coffee. What does that mean? Well, one, there are no chemicals in it. Why? Because they go through this multi-step process of making sure that all of their beans are fully clean and free of any chemicals, so that when you get the beans delivered to you, it is the pure beans, the pure coffee, the goodness that you've been wanting, the taste, the flavor, and the nutritional value as well, without worrying about any added chemicals or anything else put into the mix there. It also doesn't have that weird acidic taste that some coffees give you. I don't know how about you, but for me, some coffees kind of give me that weird sensation in my stomach, makes me a little burpy, and it kind of drags me down a little bit instead of really waking me up, which is something that I need from my coffee every day. Bulletproof also offers a lot of keto-friendly snacks and supplements, anything that you need to kind of add to your everyday nutritional needs, add to your diet, and pretty much transforms the way you feel every day. So for a limited time, if you use this code that you see on the screen right now, LOWKEYGEEK, all caps, one word, you can get 15% off your order. So what is it better than that, right? Check out the link in the description of this episode. Use this code, get yourself your discount, and make your mornings a little bit more bulletproof with Bulletproof Coffee. Now, back to the episode. Now, to go along with that too, if you have to go to the bathroom or you have to leave for whatever reason, I know it could be a nuisance to a lot of people, especially if you are walking through people, in front of people, and all that stuff like that. And I know maybe your first instinct is, I don't want to distract someone's view, so let me hunch over and try to, not be a distraction. Believe it or not, at least to me personally, you end up becoming more of a distraction by showing me that you're trying not to be a distraction, because some people do it in a way that I actually find kind of laughable.
This guy, if you saw me do it, you'd be like, this guy thinks he's in the military and he's crouch walking. Like it's a Call of Duty, pressed B one time. And I was just going to go, just hoping no one notices. If you can do it in a way where you're fully out of the line of sight from everyone, if you're going to do a full crawl and Renee can't see you, he'll be fine with it. But if you can see your head bopping up and down and he's like, what is that?
Yeah.
You don't want to give people the peripheral, what the hell is that? Is there an animal in here? Like, why is
that's the thing, right?
Just a boom, 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 thing, yeah.
Once you turn into like a troll and you're like all of a sudden you're like trying to smurf your way in front of me, like it's not gonna work. Now you just distracted me 10 times over.
Unless you're seeing
trolls,
the Hunchback of Notre Dame, whenever they re-release it, and it's like part of your costume, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't get to be mean.
Oh no! I will let that go. That can fly. Yeah, but if we're watching,
he loves cosplay more than he loves etiquette. But
I appreciate a good cosplay for sure. Yeah, but
when Renee told me that, when I was like, I thought I was being nice this whole time when I've been doing that. I'm essentially trying to do it smoothly and duckingly. And there are some situations, like a sporting game, you're not actually going to be distracting people as much with movement, because there's just movement all the time all around you. But if everything is static, I now see what you're talking about. You're going to notice the movement no matter what. Yeah. And just it's like when you're playing a video game, right? Like if someone's going to walk in front of you, they should just do it. Yeah. Then at least you're like adjusting to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless, there's all these different nuances on airplanes versus movies, whatever.
Sure.
I think another one I'll say with the moving is if you're walking in front of people, we have a general don't talk in movie theaters rule. I try to not say sorry, but my training is to go, sorry.
Sure, of course.
Whole time, or excuse me, pardon me. But you actually kind of don't want to do that, because now by being polite, you're actually being more impolite. Mm-hmm. So instead, what I do is I jump the entire time and hope I don't land on someone's foot. It's like that game where you'd have a knife between the fingers. And so you just jump as high as you can and then land as hard as you can. What's so funny? Because you're going to hit someone's foot or you're not. And ideally,
Right.
it's just safer. It's like when you're going through rain and you run full speed, you get less rained on. It's like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that concept for sure. Yeah.
And you tell the person, you're like, I'm going to land there. And then you jump full speed.
Right.
That's on them. They have to move out of the way.
Right.
You know, like between your legs, watch out, jump, and then land. Yeah.
And then again, by doing so, you're also vibrating the floor and making a lot of noise doing that. So it's like a perfect situation all around.
Also slurp a drink while you're doing that. Yeah. It's just, here's a tricky one, right? If you're trying to move your feet out of the way, but now you're moving them higher, it's a weird thing. So, right, how do we do this in this medium? The chair in front of you is reclined. Your feet are here. Someone's trying to walk by you, and so you're going to go, oops, sorry. And now they're higher, and the person now has like, how do I guess I'll just shove your feet with my body.
Right.
Pulling them towards you. Yes. If you're seated, if you're walking, it's just like, good luck, because it's a dark theater. You don't know if that's a backpack, a giant tub of popcorn, a lamp. In the case of your recent theater experience, we don't know what's there. So you're going to kind of like, you're going to kind of like just be as minimal as possible, but like moving smoothly and quickly, trying to be as little of a jerk as possible. And hopefully the other people are mindful enough that they're going to like, oh, sorry. And I've even done it for like, I've seen someone do it where they're like, sorry, 1 second, my soda. Thank you for telling me, because I didn't want to kick soda everywhere and have my feet sticky. Like whatever it is, everyone's going to kind of do their best in real time. And it's also a minefield. Good luck. There's not really a great solution there. Picking up your feet can be better, but not stomping them down. There's like basic, but that's pretty much like human. Like intuitively, you're going to kind of do about as good as you can do. What you don't want to do is make a big show of it and a big thing of it. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I kicked your. Do you mind? Like you don't need to do that in this scenario.
Right.
Everyone's kind of aware this sucks. It's going to suck for a moment. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's. There's no graceful way to do this, especially in the movie theater setting. You know, just try your best not to be like the most distracting thing, if that is a situation. Because I'll never forget, there was this one time I was at a movie, and this Asian girl, she was really, really just trying not to be that person to annoy anyone. But whenever she walked by, she did this hunch movement and this waddle that I heard people laughing every time she came in and out, and it just became more and more of a distraction. That all of a sudden now she's part of the show. You know, like every time she was walking in front of us and all that. Also, if you are walking in and out an aisle, be mindful of where you put your hands too, because I've been in situations where someone grabs the back of my seat and now I'm being like rocked back and forth as this person is like trying to walk by. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what was that?
Steady yourself without yanking. Like, you don't need a yanking motion to like pull yourself forward. You're not,
it's like, also I'm like, it's like, whoa, for 4D. So yeah, it's just it's just,
if you do that to someone, you got to go as their seat just gets
and splash water in my face as you do that, because now I get the full effect, and it's like, all right, now that's awesome, right? So that's really funny. So we covered movement, right, and all that. We've covered feet.
Where you put your stuff.
Where you put your stuff.
Where you sit.
Let's talk about, so some small ones, and you brought this up before, and I'll just go through these real quick because these are like really tiny things. The cell phone light thing.
On my list. Thank you.
Yeah, because I get it. It is hard to see sometimes, when you go into a theater. And if you're trying to find your seat, you have to use,
when it rings and it flashes a light. Yours is not on my list.
Well, we can, that'll be like a nice transition to go. Yeah.
I gotcha.
I understand, like, okay, you have to use your cell phone light. And I'm not talking about the light on your screen, like the actual LED light when you turn on the flashlight to find your seat and all that. Be mindful of how bright that shit is, because some people just go bang, and then all of a sudden you just they hold it up.
Like, wait, where's my light? Like it's a flashlight. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna locate it by going in Renee's face,
right?
Both of his eyes, gonna check the size of his pupils, and then look for
because all of a sudden it's from
towards you and then out.
It became finding your seat into now you're spelunking. and now you're like, trying to light up the entire cave. It's like, don't do that. Like, I remember I've had so many people that would do that. And then the best part is like, they don't even know how to turn it off afterwards. So now they're fiddling, trying to turn off the light. And now I just see this light going all over the place. Like we're having a disco next to me or whatever the case is. Like, just be aware, or at least know how to use your flashlight on your phone and all that. Or
you didn't know, most cell phones can lower their brightness.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
People who did not know that have been out for years. My other trick is always point it at yourself and then move it outward minimally. So there's the lights on, no one else can see it because it's like in your chest, and then you're going to move it outward. So that way you're kind of like scanning until you get the part that you need.
Right.
And in theory, you can do a full flashlight, find your seat number without it ever being anyone's like, they might notice the seat in front of them is brighter, but the light isn't actually like coming at them or illuminating their section.
Yeah. Just be mindful, because those suckers are bright, and it could be like especially when you're in a dark theater. Now, some people, they lose stuff during the movie, like they drop something and they feel like they have to look for it immediately at that moment. So all of a sudden you will find a light just pop off here and there. Just be mindful of how distracting that could be for anybody in there. Now, we'll move on to your thing, because I also agree with this about the whole the when you get a ring or someone calls you and the light starts flashing. I hate that. I really hate that.
It is a great assisted device, and some people need it. Some people, for whatever hearing issues or vibration, etc., like there are some people who actually need this device. I get it. Other people, some people use it all the time, and I don't get that. And I mean, not even outside in the movie theater, just in life in general. I'm just seeing a strobe light come at me. Just be mindful of it. And if you have one of those phones, I'm assuming that those are like the people who back in the day still had their phone on full volume all the time, even if before there was it was either silent or anyway. At some point we invented the vibrating, and it got better, and D&D and all that. There were people for years. It's not that they didn't learn to silence their phone. They're like, no, people need to hear my ringtone at this restaurant. That was a thing for years, like early 2000s ish. Those are the same people, I think, nowadays who have the full flashlight effect. You can do that, but unless you need it as an assisted device, just be mindful of it. Like face your phone the other way when you're at the restaurant, or if you're putting it down in front of me at my table for whatever, you're holding it and you're standing here in a line and I'm seated right there. I'm just going to go, just getting strobed out of nowhere.
Right.
It's not necessary a lot of the time, and worst cases you might miss the call and call the person back while you're at a restaurant. That's usually okay. If you're a doctor or something, like you just need every chance. Maybe there's some other times I'm not thinking, but movie theater, you're not taking that call. It's going to be okay.
Right. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And let's stick to the subject of cell phones, because I feel like this could be a hot topic. We could just go into so many different things here.
Like new technologies, man.
Yeah.
New cell phones.
What did we do?
We're still not used to them.
Yeah. What did we do before cell phones? I mean, how did we enjoy movie theaters without them? I don't know. But some people can't seem to put them down, even for like an hour and a half. But yeah, the ringtone thing, I get it. Sometimes you forget that it's a mistake. But be mindful of, when they tell you, just turn off your cell phone ring and all that kind of stuff like that. Maybe that's a moment to check when you hear that prompt.
Always check.
Just check.
And if you hear a sound, here's another thing I love is when someone's like, "That's not me," and it is them.
Yeah.
If you hear the sound, just double check your phone.
Just check.
That's another reminder. Yeah. It might be yours. It might be a weird alarm you didn't know you'd set, or change the setting on that thing, whatever. Sometimes people accidentally click buttons. It's not you're a terrible person. You don't need to be in denial about it. No. But even if there are times I know it's not my phone, and I'll still use that. Make sure, and you just kind of hit the button, and now it's silent, at least for my phone.
That's it. Yeah.
But also just double check and go, okay, I'm also on silent. Yeah. Just like that person now probably is, because they had a little panic. There's little reminders throughout the time. Just this is the time. We talked about it recently, the moment in Oppenheimer. That's the big moment, and it's silent. You don't want to have your phone going off during that. You'd be the worst person in the world.
Yeah, also I hear the
Jurassic Park song whenever the Nokia goes off.
Yeah.
Someone, can you please edit that? As soon as they release the DVD for Oppenheimer, we're gonna have some fun.
Oh my god, that'll be great. That'll be hilarious. And
We
okay,
also need a cut where it's Owen Wilson going, wow,
wow,
that
wow.
whole time. That would be great.
Or
Okay, we've got some
or
ideas.
a lot
We're
of
going
people
viral.
a lot of people use the Kill Bill thing where it's like woo, woo,
That'd be great. Yeah.
bum,
Oh my
ba,
gosh.
da,
Let's
da,
make a
da.
meme, baby.
Oh man, that'll be great. We got to do that. And if you know you're gonna be using your cell phone, like if you just can't help yourself, turn your brightness down, because that's like one of the things that is just really, really annoying. My worst experience with someone using their cell phone was actually at an Alamo Draft House. So I had to use the whole system where I had to alert the guy, because it was this lady who was with her boyfriend and this boyfriend's friend, I guess. And it was one of those superhero comic book movies. I forget which one at this point. You could tell she was not into it at all, right? So what does she do? From beginning of the movie, cell phone on, and she's like playing a game. She's perusing Facebook and Instagram, full 100% brightness this whole time. Did not once turn it off. It was on the whole time, and she's sitting next to me, like right next to me. So I have this glare this whole time. So at an Alamo Draft House, you write on the note thing, lady next to me using cell phone, right? Person observes, all that. Then they'll say something, right? Even after saying something, she's still, because the moment they actually walked by, that's when she finally turned it off. So of course, plausible deniability, right? Oh, it's not on. I wasn't using it. And then 5 minutes later, she's on it back again, like that. And of course, homeboy doesn't say one thing. It's like, you do you, girl. You do you, boo. You can do whatever you want. So again, note written. It hasn't stopped yet. Now, I was pissed off that they didn't kick her out, because isn't it usually... Alamo? Yeah, this is Alamo. So usually after the second offense, that's usually when they kick her out, or when they kick someone out, But no, they didn't. But lucky for me, they were warned very strictly, because I didn't notice that homeboy's friend had his feet up on the table. So she was on her cell phone the whole time. This other guy had his feet up in front of, like, so everyone can see and all that. So they were warned excessively, like, one more time, you guys are going to get kicked out. That's when they stopped their shenanigans and all that stuff like that. But I don't understand why people cannot just live without their phone for like an hour and a half. If you need to get on your phone, leave. Step out of the theater, use your phone and all that. If you're not into the movie, why are you even there? Wait in the lobby, or just say, look, this is not for me. Don't make the experience miserable for the person next to you just because you're bored out of your freaking mind and all that. Plus, if you are going to use your phone, don't stick it up in front of your face like this in front of everybody. And I can see you're texting, Jeremy, that you're going to be late and all that kind of stuff like that. Or that you're swiping through Instagram, or you're actually on Tinder looking for your next date, or whatever the case is. Or, I don't know what you're doing and all that. I don't need to see it. And guess what? Everyone else can see it too. Like when I have to use a phone, I usually have my phone down, like where my lap is, or I usually have it below if I have to check something, because maybe I'm waiting for an email or whatever the case is. Or I just don't look. You know what? For 2 hours, I'm just not going to look at my phone at all. That's just me. And I wish people would be more aware that this is very troublesome. And I feel like this is like the number one complaint a lot of people have, at movie theaters, is people using their cell phones and all that. These days, I don't hear so much people having conversations anymore. That was one thing I used to hear all the time. Oh my God. It's crazy. It's like, how can you do that? So what are your feelings about the whole cell phone thing?
So you've said it, and everyone kind of knows it's shitty to have a light in your face while you're trying to look at another light.
Yeah.
Behind that light, it's not fun.
Yeah.
What I will say, there's this interesting question, and we've had this debate before. Mm-hmm. When do you say something to the person if it's not Alamo? A problem I have with the big chains, which I'm an AMC A-list member. I'm a big fan of Nicole Kidman's work. I have the complaint that if I want to find someone,
you can't
to help with the situation. It's hard to find them. One, two, if I do find them, sometimes they make it very clear to me that they are not very passionate about their job because of how much they are paid by AMC.
Right.
I get. I also would be like, I don't care.
Right.
Whenever it's whatever minimum wage. And I had a friend one time, his first day working on the job, he was told he'd be doing tickets, and then he had to clean the bathroom when there was a giant, horrible mess that had flooded the whole place. And he just walked. I was like, yeah, that's if you don't need that. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming the worker. And then sometimes they're like, I know what to do. I'll get my manager. And then an hour and a half later, a manager comes in. They're like, hey, that person's not on their phone anymore. What were you complaining about, sir? So sometimes there are times which some of these things we're talking about, I've learned a lesson from Renee tonight. There are times where the person doesn't realize, or they think the seat's bigger. They don't realize you're behind them. Or maybe you weren't a moment ago. You were in the bathroom. And I do have my phone out sometimes once I've double checked certain things, and then I'll hide it, whatever. But it's possible. And so usually, as we mentioned before, you can have a really quick, shitty interaction with a stranger where you go, hey, I'm sorry, your phone's out. Hey, it's like if you throw in like an apologetic tone, if you're going to go, hey, buddy, put down the phone, you're probably going to have bigger problems. It's going to be weirder. It's going to be worse. Now you're the asshole. Right. But for the most part, if you just do, I have a friend, it's their policy. As soon as they see it, and it's any abnormal amount of time, not just like a check kind of thing, but the person has it out, they just go, I can see your phone. And you do it in a certain tone. It's like, I don't want to do this. And the person often will just kind of put it away and grumble maybe. They might even go, like they might, my bad, or might even yell something kind of shitty, but you're kind of ripping the Band-Aid off. Again, it's like we're talking about before. There's the small chance that it gets worse. And the person goes, oh, yeah, I'm going to hold my phone as high as I can and make it brighter. Screw you, buddy. It's my world. Welcome to it. But then now they're the asshole. It's very low odds that happens for the most part. You might even have a quick shitty interaction. I will say, if you're worried about safety for whatever the dynamic is, maybe don't talk to the manager if you need whatever. And also, when it's like a thing now, talk to the manager sooner rather than later, or else you're not enjoying the movie until you finally well, now it's gotten so bad and you've gotten used to it. So you're like, okay, I'll wait. If it's 10 more minutes, I usually will set up a rule for myself. Like if this is still happening in 5 minutes, then I'll do something about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, unless you're worried about safety, just saying something quickly, it might be a weird interaction. You might be a person who's talking during the movie. People might say, shh, but you can get the whole thing over with because a lot of times what happens is everyone around you goes, thank you. They were afraid to say something. They didn't want to, and it's fine. It's over. And everyone now turns out you're not the only person in the movie theater either. You might be saving the day for the 10 people around you also. You never know. But generally speaking, it's usually okay to say something, especially if you're like an AMC where no one's going to do anything about it in any reasonable amount of time. Maybe try it, see how it goes, see if you're able. If you're like Renee and I, where we don't like to intrude on other people's movie experience, it might be difficult. But I have a little pact where next time it happens, I'm going to try it and see how it goes.
I think
the friend who does it, they're like every time it's fine. Like people don't fight. Like one time there was a guy who yelled something back shitty, and that was as bad as it was, and then it was over. Because the tension builds up and diffuses.
Sure. Yeah. I think you and I we made we're trying to make a conscious effort to be better at speaking up a little bit. I haven't gotten there yet, but slowly but surely. But again, I just wish we didn't have to, and I just wish more people were a little bit more aware about that kind of stuff. I would love to make a suggestion to movie theaters like AMC, Regal, and all that, because it would be nice if it was easier to kind of get help when you need it. Like Alamo, again, does have that great system where you could write down a note and all that. And there's always people looking out for notes and all that. It would be great if every theater had a specific number you could text.
Yep. US Open has that. I was going to mention that one.
Oh, okay.
US Open, and it's like kind of throughout, and it's like safety or complaints kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant because otherwise you have to post someone outside of every bathroom if there's a flood or out of toilet paper, belligerent person, violent, possible terrorist, whatever. There's times where especially in a big place like the US Open, you might actually, there's safety concerns, see something, say something, whatever. You're like, hey, not sure if this is a thing, but there's been a bag out for a while, whatever. Just a text number.
Yeah.
I will say one time I texted the number and nothing happened for a super long. Actually, I don't want to get that. I don't want to put that on the US Open. One time there was a bag out for such a long time. I was just like, let's see what happens. I called the number and people came in such a long amount of time. Like, it's so long.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think the US Open was that experience, but I might be disparaging it. You just need somebody and some system. But the texting a number thing is brilliant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Every movie theater before the movie plays just says, save this number in your phone.
Yep.
Step out, text us, and we'll handle it as quickly as we can.
Yeah. And from what I know, it's an easy system to implement in an establishment. Obviously, you have to get that.
You have to have at least one worker who cares. That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing.
AMC is kind of doing the least possible.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and that's true.
The fact that Times Square one has a flies in the bathroom problem and has for years is wild to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Have you noticed that?
Yeah. For years. I've seen that. Yep. It just
for 10 years now.
They can't
flies in the bath, like a fly problem, like an infestation of flies where there's always about 10 or so. Like
it's terrible.
Where the fuck am I?
Yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, I mean, the Regal I go to, they have a dedicated security guard that's always there, and I've seen him go into random theaters just to watch the movie. But he's like checking, but then I'll catch him like laughing at whatever's happening on the screen or whatever like that, which is kind of funny, It's like, hey, dude's just hanging out and doing what he can. But like someone like that could be the guy to, like, if he gets the text message, okay, let me go check theater 3 and all that, And I want to say, after, like, when theaters started to reopen for the pandemic, some theaters did have a text like thing implemented, where I saw like a message say text 4567 or whatever like that.
It feels like an Alamo thing or something like
maybe
that.
I don't know.
I don't remember that at AMC at least.
I feel like I missed it. Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, or maybe it was another situation, but it would be nice if that could be like a system they start implementing, because it'll just be nice to know that there's an easy way to get help when you need it and whatever. I'm glad we talked about the cell phone stuff. Let me run through a couple of other things that won't take too long for us to talk about. And I think a lot of these things are kind of new. Vaping. I know some people love vaping. Some people are addicted to vaping.
Badasses? You mean cool kids?
Hey.
Cloud bros?
Do you. I have nothing against it.
16s? Yeah.
The only thing I'll say...
What are you about to say?
It is kind of distracting if all of a sudden I just see a whole bunch of smoke in front of me.
But unless this happened to me the other day, I'm glad you brought it up. Oppenheimer,
dude, it happened to me too.
The bomb sequence. I was like, hell yeah, this rules. 4D baby. Yeah,
totally happened. So same situation also. Yeah, where it's just like, when the fire's out and all of a sudden I just see smoke. I'm like, oh shit, like, is this really happening? And then I just saw it's someone who's vaping in front of me and all that. It's.
Okay. I am not one of those people, of course. Of course not. I'm an upstanding citizen, but I had a friend who was kind of drunk. They're the beer at the movie theater people. I'm not one of those people. I can't enjoy a movie while drinking beer. They did. But then she'd also pregame before the movie and then started smoking weed openly in the movie theater, which is legal now. But it's also kind of insane because I'm like, are the sprinklers about to go off? What's happening? But it's a full, like, fuck it. They tried to go outside, the door was locked, something like that, and they were just like, here we are, and couldn't figure it out because of and I was just sitting there like, no way. I'm glad it wasn't a movie I was super concerned about enjoying, but it was like, that's just some weed smoke and go, just a full, like, it's the 1960s and we're on an airplane, just that's smoke. Okay. I have a friend, they do this thing, it's called a ghost hit, apparently. Like, you can inhale the vape and hold it in your lungs long enough, it doesn't make a giant cloud of smoke. In fact, nothing comes out at all. I've seen this person smoke in a movie theater. It's kind of brilliant because you're like, oh, you're not. Then you've got the light problem, so just like cover the light. Other than that, you can kind of get away with it most places in society if you're not shining a light in someone's face or blowing a, like, what is that concerning smog lifting through the air during the movie experience? Maybe just hold it in your lungs so long that it doesn't do that.
Right.
If you're going to vape anyway, like, I'm not saying you should do that, but if you're vaping anyway, fuck it.
I'll never forget. So at least I experienced this in theaters in New York back, like, maybe in the 90s, early 2000s, when people wanted to smoke in theaters. I had friends who did this. they would make sure they have an empty cup, with the lid and the straw. And what they would do is that they would like inhale their cigarette and blow into the cup. So it's like the least amount of smoke
at that time, or like people were still doing it.
No, it wasn't legal at all. But they just had to do it. They, And I'm not talking. And it's not just weed; it's also cigarettes too. Like if they just wanted to smoke. So they would constantly keep blowing all the smoke into this cup. Now, eventually, the smoke is going to come out of the cup. But at least the cup is like on the floor, and it's like not like making this giant puff of smoke or whatever the case is.
Oh, you're talking about the old carcinogen Coca-Cola cocktail, right? That's one of the best drinks ever made. Trust me, what a delicacy.
Yeah, but it's so funny, like what people would just think of doing just because they wanted to do something and all that. So it was really hilarious when that was the thing back then. Another thing I wanted to bring up is. And I have a feeling you and I were going to have an interesting conversation about this. And it's two things.
Okay.
One, people who just make messes in theaters, and I know this is going to be tough because people are just slobs sometimes. But it's also people who make messes from the stuff that they bring in from the outside.
Yes.
Which is very problematic, I think. I've warmed up to the point of people bringing stuff into theaters from the outside. I was always really super against that, but I get it.
Why?
Well, because I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's more of me being like a snobbish, like a movie snob kind of thing.
Oh, you were worried that AMC was going to lose on their
it's like
the soda out of
because that's how they make
$9 for.
Yeah, that's how they make the money and all that. And I kind of want to bring support.
That's how they exploit the mass. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. You were,
I mean, look, let's face it. If you broke down the revenue of movie theaters, they don't make money from ticket sales at all. It's like very minuscule. They all make their money from snacks and everything. And yes, they do overcharge on purpose because that's the only way they're going to make money and all that. But I also get it. That shit is expensive. And, if you have a giant family, you don't want to be spending over $100 on popcorn and candy and soda and all that. So I've warmed up to the fact that, okay, bring in your cans, bring in your candy and all that stuff like that. I don't like people who bring in smelly shit, like fried food or things that has a very, very
feels pointed at me
sensible
now.
Thing.
And what other points do you have, Renee? What other things would you like to
I definitely want to hear your side of it too. But at the end of it too, if you're gonna do that, clean up after yourself. Like, don't leave that shit there for everyone, for the workers to clean up after you. Like, if you're gonna spill your popcorn that you bought from them because you're a slob that way, or you dropped it by accident, oopsie on you, or whatever the case is. They expect that. But if I see aluminum foil stuff on the ground, Ziploc bags like in the seats, cans of beer around, like I saw a situation where I just saw nothing but cans of beer left after a showing, and the poor guys have to clean up all that mess. That's pretty rude. I think that's a little bit too much.
It also makes it less likely you'll get away with that, because sometimes movie theaters institute policies about this. My AMC growing up, they would kind of like cycle through rule changes where they go no more outside food and drink, then they would allow it again. And then I don't know who's messing up to the point where they're changing the rule or what was going on there. To this day, since the Dark Knight shooting at a Regal theater, if this is just off memory, they check bags still.
Yep.
And so it's one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm near an AMC, because I do sneak in candy. Yeah. I one time snuck in a large bag of popcorn, but that wasn't as good of popcorn because it was grocery store popcorn.
Right.
But what I meant to say, I have a friend who sneaks in candy and also brings their backpack with them with 2 giant jugs for water that they then go to the fountain drink thing and go like this, and nope, no one ever cares. And then they now have, you can have an ice. Oh, and that friend may have also started using their Ant-Man souvenir cup they got. When the new Ant-Man came out, this really shitty movie theater was giving away old Ant-Man cups from the previous. Like, ooh, another chance to sell these finally. I paid an extra $1 for it. And now, so I'll go to my friend will go to the icy machine. And then undo the lid. It's like got a built-in plastic straw kind of thing. Fill it up with ice. You go like this. Go. Yep. No one's still looking. Pull out one jug. Fill it up with soda. You got the other jug. Fill it up with other soda or water. Whatever. Yeah. Anything goes. It's the Wild West AMC, baby. I love you guys and all of your policies.
Hey, it's their fault for leaving the machines out like that, like for everyone else to use, right?
Yes, their fault. They're saving so much money and paying the workers the exact amount where they look the other way if they even notice it.
Right.
I think they want me to do it. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they set up a system to where I should be able to get away with this, and they're encouraging it. Sorry, my friend. I don't know why I'm really bad.
No, I get it. You're tired. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
Third person, whatever.
Yeah.
So then you got the candy and the soda and the icy, and it's become a kind of a problem now where if you take a friend to the movies, they might be embarrassed by you. I'm also, what I'll say, I know we're going to start pushing through these, but with popcorn, I'm a very messy eater. I will do a giant handful of popcorn, put it up to my mouth, and by the end of the day, sometimes my little breast pocket will have a little piece of popcorn there on the ground. Overall, I'm with you. If it's a popcorn spill, it's a little much to like scoop it all up kind of thing. Yeah. But otherwise, take your stuff with you. It makes it more difficult for the rest of us to get away with these really cool, badass things we do that my friends do when they go to the movies. If you're going to be the one leaving out so much that someone finally reports it to the boss, like, oh, gee, I can't look the other way on that.
Right.
In general, clean up after yourself. In general, just be considerate of other human beings.
Yeah.
And it's a whole system now. My friend that I'm talking about, you got the box of candy, you got the wrapper, you got the popcorn, you've got the extra whatever, and you just like put it all in the popcorn tub, take it over, and then throw it out in whichever bin it says to throw it in. It's really easy.
It's not that hard. I mean, I assume you do the same thing at home, right? So just carry the same policy you do at home to that place. It's amazing how sometimes a showing will end, and I just see rows of just
like a
mess.
Baseball game.
Yeah, yep. It's like, what happened? Like, what were you guys doing during the movie? Like, were you just like, like it just like do you know where your mouth was? It's just like I get it, it's dark and all that, but what are your thoughts about the whole smelly food situation?
I think it's good to bring smelly food to theaters. I think people like it when I bring a tuna sandwich to a theater and they don't complain and they don't say weird stuff about it because it's a cool thing to do and they like because it's good. It's tuna sandwich. What's the problem? I don't get it. But why would someone be mad about that?
Can you please share your story about the pizza? Because I think because it also like, okay, if you're gonna bring outside food, also don't make it so that to the point where you're like a nuisance to somebody or people around you about it.
Pack it in tin foil.
Oh, you should.
It should be the loudest food and drink as possible.
Okay.
And it should be so big that it's kind of like hitting other people as you eat it. So basically, this one actually isn't me. It was a friend. And I was so grateful he did this because I got to give him shit about it. And still to this day, we'll bring it up. We go, because this is one of my, I'll just throw it in here. One of my rules is like, just read the room. If you're in a horror movie and people are yelling, don't be mad at them for making noise during the movie. If it's a comedy and people are kind of like, whatever. If you're going to Tar and you're going to be 10 minutes late and have people on both sides of you and you haven't eaten, so you do need a snack. I literally keep a Cliff Bar in my backpack for those days because I'm like, cool, I'm just going to boom. Now I've got some nutrients. In this case, the person said, well, I really want pizza. And they gave him 2 slices of pizza, but they put it in the biggest pizza box because they were out of the little pizza boxes. And then this person also had a Corona beer can. You know the noises those make when they open. And a soda. And also, he was in such a rush. All of these things had been shaken up in certain ways. So there's just, I'm not going to do the full story, but imagine you go to a movie like Tar at a theater like Lincoln Square, hypothetically. And it's just like a crowd that's going to be a little more up their ass.
Yeah.
And you, in trying to lift the giant pizza box and fold it so you now have a dinner table in front of you at the movie theater, you're realizing there's certain problems. Like, I will have to hit someone next to me or hold this at such an angle that the pizza, okay, we have to go with that one. And then they kind of fold it over going, sorry. They were late to the movie, so this whole time, if you've seen Tar, it's just a talking sequence of an interview with no music, no sound of interruption. Let's just throw in another rule here. If you're opening the candy, wait till there's a loud sound. If it's a real indie drama, it might be impossible. Do it quickly. But for the most part, any usual movie, even where was I the other day? I was during Oppenheimer. There will be a moment where the score is loud enough. You can just make some noise for a second. It won't bother people. It's the farting in the club, right? You can always fart in the nightclub when the bass is booming, and you can always open up the candy when the score is booming or action sequence, whatever. Well, just wait a second. Just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
In this case, there was no opportunity. And I kept checking his face and kind of laughing. And I was like, when are you going to eat that? He's so hungry. He just keeps looking like, I got to try. Does the pizza, and there's foil. I'm not kidding. They put the pizza on foil. So it's
right. Oh my God. What pizza, a nightmare.
Bite, it's the cheese is melting and drooping. And the problem is, it's still a giant pizza. So the person next to them can see the whole thing. And now it's become the subplot of Tar is Pizzagate 2022. And then the Corona, and it doesn't explode, thank goodness, but it's just.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Trying to suck it out of the top before it spills. And then the Coca-Cola, same situation. For about 20 minutes, I had the time of my life. Because I can multitask with my brain and be aware of this and also focus on the movie. But I know this dude feels like shit, and he should. It was the worst thing I've ever seen someone do that I've been with at a movie theater.
Unbelievable.
I'll throw in, this is my biggest pet peeve since I know we're trying to push through now. Let's throw in this one while we're talking about food.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Okay.
I've done this before. I've talked about it before. People don't know that when they eat popcorn, they often do it with their mouth open. They're in a relaxed posture, leaning back, and they're going, and it's the same volume to them as if they do it with their mouth closed. So a lot of people don't know they do this. That's the only way I can, because it's such a big pet peeve of mine. I always know when someone does it, and it's about like every other movie I go to, there's someone near me doing this, and all I do is I sit there just going, I don't know why it's a pet peeve of mine. I've talked to some people. There are some people who've never noticed. They go, what? That's a thing? There's going to be some people in your movie theater who don't want to hear, and for some reason, popcorn is like potato chips. It's the loudest food in the world. People know to not do it with potato chips. People don't know because popcorn, you're not like eating outside of movie theaters for the most part. You're not doing it at the dinner table. No one ever corrected you. You're not doing it on a date, and someone goes, hey, just close your mouth when you eat. So people are just kind of like, this is like a different food. It's a wild way, like just you get away with it. When you eat popcorn, you will be ruining my movie unless it's simple. Chewing with your mouth closed. It's the thing that we just generally in society ask people to do. No one's looking at you. Maybe that's part of it. People are just like not caring about that aspect, but it's not about that. It's that you open your mouth, put the popcorn in, close your lips, and then now you can chew. I actually tried to explain it to someone. They're like, that's impossible. How can you chew with your, but like we all do it. But literally with popcorn, they were like, no, you can't chew. Hold on. How would I, and try and do it. But like you literally just close your mouth, and it's the same as if you're on a dinner date and you don't want the person to see you chomping food in front of them.
Yeah.
If that's your problem, you have bigger problems.
That's a whole other problem. Yeah.
If that's a problem, because it is. And I'll put myself under the bus. I didn't know that yawning with your mouth open was a problem. No one had ever told me that. That wasn't a thing in my family. Met someone where culturally for them it was a thing. They corrected me. Now I notice it and I see when people do it. It's a weird thing to do. Opening your mouth fully and then just like screaming out into the void silently and people can be inside of your mouth. Not good. Apparently, I learned this in my 20s and was very embarrassed. If you're just chewing all the time with your mouth open, maybe check on how to, if people don't like that, because they don't, if they're looking at you. Yeah. In this case, no one's looking at you, but I can hear it and it will ruin the movie for me until you stop. And all I do is I check, I see how big of the popcorn is. I go, well, this can only last up to an hour. Sometimes, or the person puts it down. I go, thank God it's over. And then 30 minutes later, they're like, oh yeah, popcorn. It's so loud. Please don't do that. That's my biggest one. That's the one I am most passionate about. While we're talking about food, I'm going to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And it's not just popcorn too. It's like the nachos. It's like anything that's crunchy that makes noise. I mean, if candy. Your mouth, candy. If your mouth, if you're not eating with your mouth closed, people hear that stuff. And
slurping it could be a soda.
Right.
It's going to happen a tiny bit. If you know it's near the end, just check. Do it slow, but it's going to go. But then don't ever drink that soda again until it's melted and you've shoved the straw all the way down. Because it's going to make a slurping sound.
Yeah. It's
we just chose the loudest things for movie theaters for some reason.
It's true.
Why.
It is true.
But
it is
as
true.
a society, we're like, what's the loudest snacks and drinks possible?
Right.
Yeah, let's get those.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't really see theaters like selling cookies or cake or soup. Right? It's like things that don't mix. But soup, you'll hear people, Probably like slurping that. Yeah.
Clanking. What are you talking about? But I know what you're trying to say.
So I have two more on my list, and these are like really interesting things here to talk about. One is, and this could be controversial, I don't know. I don't understand why people bring little kids to movie theaters when, one, they can't handle it sometimes, or two, they're so young and they're bringing them to like an R-rated movie. Where
you can't afford the babysitter, then maybe don't spend the money on
maybe just wait
to be there and like just save that money for that weekend. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe wait.
I'm assuming there's sometimes where it's like out of their control in some way, but you don't have to go to the movies usually.
No, like
I don't know what the deal is there.
Yeah,
I don't have kids, so maybe I'm missing something, but the kids. It's not good. It's not good.
Here's what I'll say. I have a lot of friends who have kids. Guess what? For like 3 or 4 years, they're not going to movies. You know, they're just watching stuff at home. You know, that's a sacrifice they understood they have to make. Other people, I guess they just don't have that same mentality. But if you're gonna bring a kid to a movie, why does it have to be like the loudest or scariest thing ever? You know, like I'll never forget.
The animated movie, it's a kid zone. I don't go to those. If I'm seeing Toy Story 4, I'm waiting until the 11 p.m.
That's different. Yeah, that's kids. Yeah, that's
during
very different.
Summer weekday, and you're going to an animated movie. That's on you. It's going to be fucking daycare there sometimes.
That's very different. Alamo, they have this thing where it's like kids showings where you're allowed just to bring kids, and they're allowed to like roam around and all that stuff like that. But you're there for that purpose, right? Like people parents are there, families are there. They understand that.
I hope Oppenheimer was so sold out someone went to that screening of Oppenheimer.
Well, I don't think they would have done that for Oppenheimer. I mean, I'm talking about like, you know, if they're going to watch like maybe Across the Spider-Verse or something like that. Gotcha. But
Smart. Love that. Thank you, Alamo.
You know, like why am I going to watch, I don't know, The Exorcist, which did happen. This was like an anniversary showing of The Exorcist. And I just see a lady coming in with her 2-year-old in her arms. And I'm like, what made you think this was like a perfect time to bring your 2-year-old to the movies when, you know, watching The Exorcist out of all things? And of course, what happens after the first 15 minutes? Wah, wah, and you know, then you have to do that walk of shame, walking down the aisles, you know, like trying to bring your baby outside.
Like holding a time bomb because even everyone's like, that baby's going to cry again. This is The Exorcist.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't care what, like, monitor your own children's content however you want. If it's an R-rated movie or whatever, like horror movie, etc. But generally speaking, as an adult with no children, there's certain movies I'm not expecting children to be at. I just think this is a thing in like kids in restaurants, airplanes, etc. Generally speaking, you're going to be like responsible. You're like the voucher, like I co-sign this kid in their behavior.
Right.
And if they're yelling, now you're leaving the movie. And why did you want to do that? Why'd you come to the movie if you were going to not see the movie? I don't know. If they're running up and down the aisle type stuff, my favorite is I saw it recently. It didn't seem like it was the parent. It was like the baseball coach or something. He was checked out by that point. Like he'd been dealing with this. He's tired. And the kids are just like, I don't remember what movie it was. Imagine like a movie in this, like in the vein of like Transformers or Detective Pikachu. I was like, yeah, of course. There's going to be some like teenage kids here. They're just full wild town running up and down, but like they had the decency. They're not doing it for no reason, but every time they wanted to go to the bathroom, go, full speed, jumping every step they could.
Yep.
It was actually kind of comical, and I was like, this is what I get for coming to this movie.
Yeah.
But at some point, the dude was just like, I'm not going to corral these 12-year-old boys and monitor their energy levels during this movie.
Right.
Fuck it. And at some point, I just like was able to laugh it off because it was so. And I remember being that kid. My parents took me. The birthday party was for 10 years old. Was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Another one was the first Pokemon movie. I'm sure we were doing that. I'm not putting it on the kid, but for the most part, unless it's a movie where you're expecting that, you're kind of vouching for the kid and saying, "I promise this asshole isn't going to make any noise while this movie is happening." And I also the fact that you're spending so much money and then your movie experience might be ruined. That's the part I don't really get.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Going on maybe.
I don't understand that. I really don't. Like that whole mentality baffles my mind. I just don't understand the reasoning behind it. Because yeah, I remember I saw the first Sonic movie, and I was not the first one, the second one, sorry, the second Sonic movie, and maybe 10 minutes left in the movie, kids, they had enough, right? So they're like jumping from aisle to aisle, and they're entertaining themselves now with occasionally
Jim
looking at the
Carrey
screen.
performance is
Right.
derivative. They were yelling things like that.
Right. Yeah, they'll be like, all right, it's a little bit nonsensical at this point, and it's suffering from another third act issue here. Like, so I can't.
The first Sonic movie was self-aware of its irony. This one is not.
Right. It's lacking the human interaction that I saw in the last one. So I am now fully checked out, and I want to run. But again, you're going to showing like that. You're going to expect that to happen. So I'm like, all right, it's fine. Whatever the case. But anytime I go to an R-rated movie, I'm not expecting that. So when I see that happening, I'm like, why now? Like, what made you feel like you are so desperate to go to a movie, or you had to see this movie right now? That
I'm guessing they don't care about the movie. Like, like people will like movie hop. Bigger thing back in the old days before.
Oh yeah, that still happens. I think.
You buy it, and it's summer, and you got the kid, and whatever. You're killing time. You want to be in AC. You're just kind of treating it like an AC skip. Like that's gotta be something like that, where they're like, I'm not here for the movie. I'm here to sit, and I'll be. It's like watching TV at home kind of concept.
Yeah,
something like that's the only thing I can think of. So. If this is you're probably not watching this because you don't really care about movies that much, but everyone watching this is going to relate. When we go to a movie, we usually want to watch the movie,
right?
And then there's some people there who don't want to watch the movie. The person about earlier who was texting at Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, yeah, playing. Yeah, well, doing her whatever thing is. Yeah. Do you have anything else before I jump into this?
One.
Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
It's a little hard to explain, but it's not long. It's simple. It's just. Don't talk about the movie you just saw while you're in the theater.
Okay, this is going to go. Yeah, this is going to go into what I want to say. So go ahead. Yeah.
The rule I try to employ in New York City, it's like a Broadway rule. It's like the subway rule. So it's when you leave Broadway within a Broadway musical, within a couple few blocks, everyone's walking, and then they'll be getting to a cab, a subway, whatever. So essentially, like within the first or second big intersection. That's when you will no longer be with people who were at the theater with you. I try to employ that concept at the movie theater. So this doesn't just include the theater itself, the escalator out, the stairs, whatever. And then right outside the theater, you have two possible issues. One, you might be spoiling the movie for someone else. Two, you're essentially... there's some people who don't care about this. I know some people who really care, and I'm one of them. Like, I think it's more common. And most people say, I want to talk about this movie with my friend. We're going to talk about it. You don't know what the other person's experience was.
Right.
So there's been times where I am literally crying at the end of a movie, and the person behind me goes, that was fucking stupid. That was boring. Why would they? I didn't get it. And then I'm just like, you're essentially like, it's like a psychologically violent action where you're literally like putting yourself inside of someone's brain. Don't do that. This person may have been affected by it, or the opposite. And I've kind of seen people like get in arguments afterward in a movie where people have like, and especially if it's some fan, like Star Wars kind of thing, like some people might like it might be an actual problem. How dare you say that was not like whatever? And some people loved it, some people hate it, whatever. Keep it to yourself, because you can actually like fuck with someone else's experience and their night, and especially like you don't know it because they're sitting facing the other way. They might be weeping, having been moved. That might be for some other reason you don't even know about. One of the most important movies to them. They finally saw themselves represented on screen or whatever. Don't be a dickhead and be like, oh yeah, that the original Little Mermaid was better. So I'm like, you're an asshole.
Right.
And a lot of times I've noticed people are talking to their friend. They don't realize that their opinion is actually being broadcast out to everyone else. Yeah. Especially at an echoey ass movie theater, the hallways of it. When I went to the final Star Wars movie, I literally had headphones playing Darth Vader's theme song on repeat and full blast. I was terrified. I saw a later showing, couldn't see the earlier one. Terrified some kid was going to walk by and tell me blank. Pretend it's a spoiler I'm saying right now. Especially opening weekend, big movie. Don't ever talk about the movie out in the open area at all.
Yeah.
The rule I'm going to throw onto this this is the last one I'm putting them together. Talking during the movie, some people call it like there's a 12-inch rule, an 18-inch rule, whatever. You're essentially, it is okay to talk during a movie, but you have to do it at such a volume that the people around you can't hear it and it's not disruptive. And if it's important, urgent, like, hey, the doctor just called, we need to rush the hospital, whatever. You can say all of these things if you need to. Explain the thing. Oh, that's Han Solo. He was in the original Star Wars. Like, whatever. But do it at the volume that you and your person you're with agree upon. And don't do it at a volume where other people can hear you. It's possible. And people don't know about whispering. People think whispering's just, there's loud whispers. Like, it's just, imagine there's this little bubble of silence around you. I think the same applies after the movie. You can talk about the movie in the theater with your friend as much as you want. Just don't do it in a way where it's interrupting the other experience that other people just had. So that's the I've got a couple tips to add on to the end of this, but that's the end of my peeves list.
A great example I'll bring up about having a conversation once a movie ends is my Everything Everywhere All at Once story, where once the movie ended, credits were rolling and all that, the guy next to me looked at me and said, "I'm sorry to bother you, but I need someone to talk to about this movie. I mean, wasn't this movie fantastic?" Or I forget exactly what he said verbatim and all that. But I said, "You're not bothering at all. This movie was fantastic. I mean, let's talk about it." And then we had a small conversation about it. But he approached it so nicely and all that.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Permission, essentially, like
right.
To share this space that we were just
exactly.
in together.
Yeah.
This is weird. You're having intimate experiences with strangers, and there's times after a movie. What I did after Everything Everywhere is I brought googly eyes with me after I'd seen it one time, and I like gave them out to strangers at the end, like in a little, like, especially if I saw they enjoyed it, were affected. I was just like, here you go, just a little reminder about the message of the movie. I love that you had that after Everything Everywhere.
Yeah,
there are good times after Matrix. I rewatched they re-released the original Matrix for one night at an IMAX, whatever. And afterwards, someone just yells out like, "Guys, I haven't seen that in a while. Can we just have a quick conversation? Anyone who wants to talk about that movie, come over here."
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been like had his mind blown again.
That's funny.
Cool.
That's like
a little symposium at like midnight at AMC. Yeah.
That's like a Comic-Con moment kind of thing. Like I feel like that's something you would find like at a Comic-Con where it's like, "Hey, we just saw this thing. Let's all talk about it. Let's all gather in a group and all that," which is really sweet. I had another moment where the theater wasn't full at all. It was the Moon Age Daydream, the Bowie documentary.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, lady, kind of older lady, was just walking down and she passed by me and she just kind of tapped me quickly on the shoulder. She's like, "Wasn't that fantastic?" And I said, "It absolutely was." You know, like that was such an experience. And she just wanted to say that. She just wanted to share that moment with somebody, which was actually very sweet. But let's talk about talking in movies. Because it's something that is you know how much
Mystery Science Theater.
It. Yeah,
people love it when they hear your commentary.
You know how much I love it because I always love to bring up The Little Mermaid and the two slobs sitting right in the aisle next to me, and the whole time I think they were thinking that they were in Mystery Science Theater 3000 because they commented on everything. It's I don't know what to say about it. It's just one of those things where I think it's getting worse because I think people are so used.
Mushrooms before you see Little Mermaid.
Number one, that does help. I co-sign that. That would help for sure. But I think number two is that people are so used to watching things at home and having full-on conversations while watching things at home that they think that's okay to do outside when you're in a theater. It's not, because you're not at home. And not everyone watches things the same way you do, where they have to constantly commentate on everything that's going on the screen. The commentating is the thing that's getting worse. And I don't know why that is. No, I do know why that is.
It makes sense to me. The reason you just said about people getting comfortable at home. The other thing I'll say is, it's ruining the experience of the person commentating. That's obvious because of like the volume there. But here's an experience I had in high school. Mm-hmm. We were trying to watch Gangs of New York, the Martin Scorsese classic.
Yeah.
We were a little too young to understand art house cinema and Martin Scorsese and his impact. It was probably a lot of our first Martin Scorsese movie. We did the Mystery Science Theater thing, which a lot of people do, especially when you're younger. You're watching a movie, you're going like, "Oh, that's so stupid." You're like kind of like improvising with it, right? And it's a fun joke to do as if the movie's really bad. But at some point, my friend was like, "No, I think I'm actually enjoying this. Can you guys please stop?" And what I noticed was, once I started taking the movie seriously, it was like maybe freshman in high school. Once I started taking the movie seriously, I was like, "Oh, this is actually really good." And especially if you're like shitting on it or just like kind of doing that, like adding your little jokes to it, it can be funny. And usually at some point people are like, okay, it's not actually funny anymore. And you're just like playing a game where you're like, it's an improv game or something. But oftentimes when you, all I know is that when you do that, it is actually a shitty movie and your brain is like tricking itself, like it's looking for silly things happening on screen.
Yeah.
The best movies of all time all have that. You could kind of make fun of any of them. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's actually a shitty movie. It might not actually be a good movie, but if you do that, it will be a shitty movie. Try to open up and enjoy the movie when you're doing that and hanging out with your friends at home even. But at the theater especially, if you're sitting next to Renee, that's the only exception. Make sure to do it.
Please do.
And your Star is Born experience. That anecdote.
Oh my God.
Legendary.
Yeah. And again, for those of you who may not know, again, this is another iconic moment where I was sitting next to two of the biggest Lady Gaga fans I probably will never meet. And every time Lady Gaga was on screen, they had to take out their phones and take pictures of her and sing along to every song that she sang.
That's so cool.
That's was awesome. Just, I felt like I was on Broadway.
40, baby.
It was like the best experience I have ever had. It made me.
Don't get me started about people singing along to musicals.
Oh,
that was a new musical, and they must have heard it. I'm gonna just throw that one in here since you're bringing up Star is Born. I was at Broadway recently, and someone tried to sing along every time a song came up in Hamilton. I just kept looking back, and they eventually stopped.
Yeah,
I was like, no,
you're
not. On
we didn't
pay.
We didn't pay for you.
They actually have sing-alongs for a lot of musicals.
They do.
Now.
No, that's true.
Alamo. It's beautiful. Go to that one.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times you've seen it, if it's your favorite movie, but I also like to sing along to music when I'm at home. Not everyone knows that about me. I kind of keep it to myself, but I'm a full-on singing along as if I'm the star of the show. When you're at the theater, you're not the star of the show, unfortunately.
You're not, no.
And I will keep doing this until you fucking stop, or eventually, like, it's just so, and it's, there have been times it is a beautiful singer, and they are literally the quality of the person singing on screen or on stage, and I just still, like, nonetheless, I wasn't asking for harmony at any point.
No. Yeah. It's again, it totally ruined my experience of A Star is Born, where like to this day, I don't think it's a great movie. For all I know, it is probably like a fantastic movie, but because of that one experience I had, it's just, and again, I owe it to myself to rewatch it now after all these years. And now I can't
haven't.
No,
I've
I
seen
refuse
it about
to.
10 times, all time fave.
No, I refuse to. Yeah. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit myself down and do it eventually. But talking in the movie, look, I when I was younger, me and my friends, we did it, you know, especially when the movie was terrible, like you said. I'll never forget, we went to opening night of Anaconda, and that movie was just laughable from beginning to end for us. And we just kept joking about it and making jokes to the point where we didn't even realize we cleared out the front row in front of us, where people just got up and left and went to like other seats, that we had no idea that that's what we did. And like when they did the re-release of the Star Wars movies, like again, these are movies people have seen already, so like we're like doing our little jokes and talking about it here and there. But we now that I'm older, I can say, yeah, we were pretty obnoxious about that stuff. So again, be mindful of it. But when you have adults doing it, but they're doing it not to be obnoxious, they're just doing it because they're unaware. That's a whole different story. And you can tell they're just like totally unaware. Like those two guys, the two Slavs, I can tell like they're used to being at home, you know, talking along with the movie, joking about it, commenting. Maybe they do a podcast like we do, and this is what they do, but you're not at home again. And I didn't see any recording equipment, at least from what I know, but it felt like I was watching their podcast because that's how much they were commenting while watching The Little Mermaid. It was just really, really ridiculous. Another thing
they were auditioning for movie time guys to like they knew it was you, and they're like, "Oh shit, we really impress him with our commentary."
Right. Or they're trying to practice because they wanted to join Maria Menounos while she's doing that little thing that she does, and then she's like, "Oh, and here is blah blah blah. Hey, everybody, blah blah blah." Another thing that you and we talked about before is people who have to repeat things that happen in movies.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you see this as comedies all the time, right? Where something funny happens, like, Oh, she used a bottle on that one. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we all saw that, buddy. Like you don't have. I don't need a play-by-play.
The natural thing, people like humans do that for some reason, but it can really annoy the people next to you, especially if you do it the whole time. Which I've been there. It sucks. It's kind of like singing along to the musical, essentially.
Right. It's like you don't like. I remember. This is funny. This goes back to again the Flash screening. There was a lady that was sitting like 3 rows in front of me. And she was that person. She kept commenting on little things here and there. Like there was a moment where Barry was getting the beer and it happened to be Stella, right? And she's like, oh, he's drinking Stella.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah, we see that. Yeah, thanks.
Amazing.
I'm like, why? What compels you to have to call that out? And all that. But she was doing that to all these random things, and it's a lot of people, they do that, and it's just so bizarre. Like,
what theater was that? Do you remember that you saw Flash?
It was a theater in Brooklyn, like in Williamsburg. Okay. Yeah.
I had a movie, and it was essentially the same level of just like the most meaningless detail, and someone did that for an entire movie. Like, oh, that's a red shirt. I'm not kidding. It was like, there's something wrong. I was just like, I don't think I'm going to report this because they're not like there's something going on with them. But like it was in everything. It was talking to the screen. And the weird part to me was they were on a date. I was like, I understand the dynamic here, but I'm just about to have a really bad experience because I'm not going to report this one in and just the entire movie. Oh, look, he's back. Like doing that. It's amazing. I'm not kidding. The whole time, including the big moments of the movie.
Oh my God. Yep. I knew he wasn't dead,
Yeah. Even little stuff. And he's driving a blue car. Huh. I love it.
Oh man. So there's this other way of talking in movies that a lot of people do. And it happens a lot in scary movies. Where in a scary movie or a horror movie, 2 people will talk to each other to kind of maybe dampen the scariness of a movie because they're already distracting themselves. Yeah. So this happened when I was watching the first It movie. Like I was watching the first It movie with a friend of ours. And the couple next to us kept talking all throughout the entire movie. Like they were just kept talking and talking and talking. And our friend was like, oh, they're doing this because they're really scared. Yeah, and they're trying to distract themselves. But no one was saying anything to them. I think at one point somebody did.
Walk out of the theater. If you're
the movie. That's right. Movie experience. Yeah, I think someone said something and they just looked at us and they just continued to do whatever they were doing. Yeah, it's just like, okay, there's no stopping them at this point. They're just not going to be conscious about that stuff anymore. And they're just
I would say if you want to have a good date and get to know someone and converse and communicate with them, see what you have in common, go to a horror movie and have that first date there. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this whole topic because I think that is the number one problem I have at movies is people who talk. And my whole thing is like when the trailers are playing, you could still talk as much as you want because again, those are just trailers. Even though I love trailers, I respect the trailers, I'm there for them. The minute the movie starts, you better shut your fucking mouth. Like that's it. Like it's a no talking zone at that point. Now, unless like in situations you brought up before, if you're trying to explain someone who doesn't speak the language or they're trying to understand something, then do it in a whisper.
You can talk the whole movie as long as you're not ruining the movie for everyone else. I will say there's some other exceptions. Like at one point I'm at a live comedy, a movie that's like or not live, but like it's a comedy stand-up special at a movie theater. They have like all different types of movies, Rocky Horror Picture Show, sing-alongs. If you're at a horror movie, you're going to hear someone yell, "Oh my God," at some point, and those
are reactions. Yeah,
you're gonna have like a little like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like thing. Sometimes it's actually enhances the experience for everyone else. It's like you're doing like a little call and response, and you're reacting to it, and everyone else is feeling that anyway. if you're doing it in such a way that it is outside of the scope of the movie experience, then that's when it's a distraction, and it can really ruin at least Renee's night. And if it's a little worse than that, then mine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when it's a reaction, that's like a natural thing. Like that's perfectly fine. A great example of that is like when I watched Infinity War, and like during the blipping moment where everyone's blipping and all that, Black Panther was blipping, and someone way in the back was just like, "Oh hell no!" And everyone got a good chuckle out of that because that was pretty surprising.
Nope, someone yelled "nope" without like it wasn't.
But that's funny.
Yeah. That's
Again, those are reactions, But then when you're commenting, like that's a whole different situation, and that's just don't do it. Save that for home. Or if you
do it, but like so quietly that you're only ruining your friend's night or your date, and then they'll never go on a date with you again. And that's how you get through these problems.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or if you know you're going to do it, why don't you book a seat either all the way in the back or all the way in the front?
Right next to Renee.
Or right next to me. Yeah.
Totally by themselves.
That's right.
Just you and Renee give him that commentary. This dude loves movie commentary. He's got a whole channel for it.
That's it.
Life's dedicated to this work.
It will become a story, and I will talk about it for sure. Yeah, and leave me your name and all that stuff so I could call you out and all that. What are some of the tips and things that you wanted to go over real quick?
I'm gonna blast through these.
Go for it.
One, if you're trying to figure out what time to get to the movie, if it's a big blockbuster, I always give myself 22 or 24 minutes for trailers and Nicole Kidman and everything like that. Usually 10, 22 minutes, and then you got Nicole Kidman, a Dolby logo, whatever. Heads up on that. For an indie movie at an indie theater, I usually assume about 15 minutes for trailers. These keep getting longer over time. These numbers, like I've literally been tracking this, and I just have like rules of thumb in my head. I'm like, okay, I got to get here by this time. 2, be as ridiculous as you want during Nicole Kidman's thing. During Barbie, I had a group of people near me chanting every word she said as she said it, and people loved it.
Nice.
And then near the end, people were like saying it was amazing.
Nice.
Clap, applaud. A friend and I, we like record it because especially if it's one of the ones where it's just like over the top.
Yeah,
it's great. Go ahead and AMC. It's great. Do that as much as possible. And then the movie's about to start, so just don't do
now.
That
shut up. Yeah,
as Renee says it. Yes.
Yeah.
2, I already talked about how my special friend, who looks a lot like me, gets free drinks at movie theaters. You can bring in jugs. You can bring in, I'm pretty sure, one of the giant football game Gatorade things and just fill it up, and no one's gonna look.
Like a mini cooler. You're bringing like a mini.
Cares who works at the chain theater? Yeah, you'll be fine. You can bring in the $1 soda from the bodega instead of the $9 soda of equal size at the movie theater. Last one I'll throw out there, just in case somebody doesn't know about it. Run P is an app that tells you the best time to go to the bathroom during a movie.
Yeah.
It made Oppenheimer so much better. I won't say what it said. And it gives you non-spoiler details, such as they will say this at this time. And you just know, and they'll tell you how long you have. And it was opening night of Oppenheimer with the only movie that had only been out a couple hours. It told me exactly what time and what words would be said and how long I would have, and I made it back. And on my second rewatch, I made sure to not miss that part. I didn't miss anything. It was great. At least it'll tell you and sometimes it'll give you like some details of what you'll miss without spoiling it. And other times we'll have it where it'll even tell you what you missed for when you're on your way back. But anyway,
that's awesome.
Great app for that reason.
Yeah, that's one app I wish more people knew about. Yeah, I'm surprised not a lot more people know about that. Like, I feel like that's one of those things that it's like them and Letterboxd. Like, those things should go hand in hand for some reason, because I feel like the cinephile, the people who are diehard into movies, they would love to know that information, because going to the bathroom is always tricky. Choosing the right moment to run out to the bathroom or get your refill or whatever the case is,
The other one I want is if I or a friend are late to a movie or we're going to the bathroom, we come back and you go, hey, what did I miss? And you're doing it in that quiet, muffled, whatever. Yeah. And you kind of tell them like, okay, they broke up, but then she saw her ex or whatever. They need to have that same app needs to have what happens in the first blank amount of time during the movie. Sometimes I'm literally like 3 minutes late to a movie and I'm reading the Wikipedia article trying to see if it has a plot summary or whatever. Mm-hmm. Also, content and trigger warnings should be available in such a place. Like AMC just needs to buy this and make it theirs, and I don't know, something like that. And then ideally you'd have a situation where you could say, I missed this 8 minutes in the middle of the movie because I got sick and had to run to the bathroom.
Or you were stuck in traffic like I was for Oppenheimer.
Poor boy. The first minutes are the best.
I know.
I hope you see him someday.
Yeah, no, I am for sure. Yeah. Another thing I will one thing I'll say is that the one item that they will never tell you can't bring are water bottles, especially nowadays. Like everyone has a water bottle now.
Vodka season, baby. Dude, that's where you're going with this?
You could put whatever you want in this thing, whether it's like a concoction, God forbid, water, or nothing at all. Because if you do have those AMCs that have those machines out and about, hello, now you have your container. If you don't want to bring a giant Gatorade thing like your friend does, then your water bottle. It's like the perfect thing to do and perfect thing to use. And I've never seen anyone being told you can't bring a water bottle in with you, because I feel like that would be a kind of discriminatory.
You medically require water, and it's true. We all do.
Yeah. I mean, hydrate. It's very important. It's something that everyone should do more of. So there you go. I love the fact that we talked 2 hours about movie theater etiquette. Like it's
passionately.
It's I love that we were able to have a conversation like this.
I thought this would be like a 20-minute or.
So did I.
Like, how much will there be?
Yeah.
We got anecdotes for these too, and some of yours are my favorite.
And like I said, I have so many more I can talk about. Again, we'll save that for like another time and all that. But I would love to know what other anecdotes or experiences some of you have had, because I'm sure you had your own share. So let us know what you think about this etiquette lesson or etiquette rundown of the movie theater going experience. And if you could relate to any of the things that we highlighted for you here, would love to hear your stories and thoughts. Or if there's something that we've missed, please share with us all in the comments and let us know what are some of the things that we should be mindful of the next time we go watch a movie at the movie theater. And before we do that ourselves, and we close out this episode of this week's Movie Time, Blake, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Go to the Letterboxd app, look up last name Wolf, all one word, and you'll see where I gave all 3 movies I saw in the last week: Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Theater Camp, 5 stars.
Very nice. And I noticed you've upgraded your rating for Oppenheimer too, because of your more recent experience. And again, something so Blake and I are considering that the minute Oppenheimer is available on digital, we are going to sit down and do a complete rundown of that movie, because it deserves it. It really, really deserves it. I see people have done it already, based off what they saw in the theaters, but it'll be nice if we had visual representations along with what we want to talk about and all that. So I think that would be a fun project for you and I to do.
I take back a lot of my complaints about Oppenheimer. I still have one of them, but for the most part, I now get it. What he was doing cinematically, editing wise, blew my mind.
Nice.
I'm not going to get into any of them now. I could just talk about it for so long, but yeah, I'm very excited to do that with you.
Yeah, no, that'll be a lot of fun. And something, I wish we were closer to one. One thing I always had in mind that we could do is that it would be nice if we could go to a drive-in and just do like a commentary from watching a movie at a drive-in. But I think the closest drive-in from here is like an hour and a half drive away. So that's not something that's like so easily doable. But again, something to think about.
Docs us, but I got one for you, bud.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later on. But as for me, obviously, Letterboxd, I'm there too, the Low-Key Geek. But I'm also on X, as we're calling it now. X is going to give it to you. I'm not allowed to say the previous name anymore. Threads, Instagrams, but most importantly, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, your podcast platform of your choice. Obviously, we would love it if you would follow us, subscribe, hit that like button, do all that nice stuff, show your support, show your love. Check out the description to see how else you could help support this channel. Check out popculture.shop, the merchandise store that you could find merchandise of not only the channel, but of pop culture stuff in general. great way to show your support and all that. And check out the affiliates we have there. Mint Mobile. That's right. I am now an affiliate partner with Mint Mobile. So if you're looking for a nice change of pace and you love those Ryan Reynolds commercials, definitely sign up for Mint Mobile. I am a converter and I can say I love it. So check out Mint Mobile. You can get your first 3 months for only $15 a month for unlimited data. And that is a nice little perk there for checking them out. But with all that out of the way and all that being said, this has been an episode of Movie Time. I've been Renee. That's been Blake. We are going to head on out. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. Catch you all in the next one. All right. Peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.